Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 3, Session Number 9 of the Imris Saga, Rising Shadows campaign. I am joined by my very lovely cast. I won't steal Jack's thing this week and make you say hello.
I'll say hello anyways. Anything for you, Ice Daddy.
Unacceptable that you've stolen from me.
All right. Let's go
Should
ahead.
gloss over that, aren't we?
You can call me Daddy if you want. I'm not going to complain.
Specifically, Ice Daddy, but okay.
I was just not commenting because I have to remember the fairy floss thing, and I just couldn't do that.
But he's clean shaven, so what's the matter?
Good shape. So last week you guys kind of finished whatever little preparation things that you had to do before all gathering together so that Torlus could plane shift you into the astral plane. On which you all took off heading for Will's hometown, or at least the version of it that exists here in this sort of facsimile of the prime material plane. You encountered, you kind of experienced firsthand some of the oddities of traveling through the astral plane. Different kinds of temporal weirdness, things with distance that were very strange. You encountered many dream portals, which were kind of access ways, windows into people's dreams, particularly strong dreams that they might have. You encountered kind of specters, after images of people at sleep entering into the astral plane, usually momentarily before returning in the depths of their sleep. You also encountered a couple creatures, one of this giant slug crab thing, which you chose not to engage with, as well as several beholderkin on the weaker side as you were traveling through a forest, which you did end up having to engage with as they start to follow you and track you down. But apart from one big hit, you didn't really take any damage or anything from that fight. It was pretty easy for you, although perhaps a warning or giving you some information of the kinds of things that lurk here. We ended with you arriving at Breaker's Hill, Will's hometown, kind of cresting over probably the eponymous hill, and seeing a very, very large tree. That's where we're going to rejoin it. So, yes.
I'm going to walk over and touch the tree and see if it has the carved thing that we'll put into the tree forever.
It does, and it seems to be fresher than you remember, as though it was carved more recently.
We'll file that away, part of her brain that she doesn't want to think about. This way, I suppose, lead into Breaker's Hill, a place where nobody else has been, right?
No, Serene.
Yeah. No, they went somewhere else, and I teleported them.
Oh, that's right. It's just Kella.
Yeah, just tell them.
Yeah, Kella's not with you guys at the moment, so just Kella of this party.
Yeah, so I think we'll kind of assume that time will change shape as she walks towards the bakery.
It's you remember that things have changed, and some things are a little bit different closer to your second visit, but some things, especially as you're walking into it, start to shift to be more like they were during your childhood, as you remember. So there are a couple buildings that you saw on your last visit that kind of fade out, and you can still maybe even see like an impression of where you know them to be, but they're not solid like some of the other buildings, which are more solid in your memory. Everybody else, you see a I don't want to say nondescript, but fairly average looking village. There's nothing particularly all that notable about it as you're walking through. Mostly wood. There's a couple stone buildings here and there, mostly kind of tile or thatched roofs kind of thing. But it seems very nice. It seems like a warm and welcoming place to grow up in, apart from the oddities of the astral sea, like the sky flaring orange, green, yellow, and all manner of other colors at times. Will, it doesn't take you a long time at all to find your house. But unlike the rest of these buildings, your house, as you start to approach, you maybe even like turn a street so that you can see it off in the distance. And you can clearly see there's like something wrapped around it. Many long, like reaching black things.
I think as soon as she can see the house and that there's something unusual about it, she doesn't go faster. But like she was holding her cloak in a way that was a little bit more for comfort than normal. And she's like just the knuckles on her hands are white as she's like gripping the hems of this cloak. And she's kind of floating, not really thinking about it. A little bit off the ground with her flight speed as she spent like the entirety of her energy trying to work out what the things are that are wrapped around the house, but she's not really thinking about it in a more pointed manner until she gets closer.
What's her voice?
30 feet. The same as Wolf.
They're
Cool.
It's just flight instead of walking.
She's not even aware of it, really.
Got it.
She she's like really more jittery than normal. The fact that this is like Cricket Hill like sometime between when she left and now, and then seeing the house have this big like invasive thing, like a sort of magic being on the house, is significant. So as she approaches it, I think, can I make an Arcana check about the tentacle things?
Yeah. And as you all approach it, while they're making this roll, you can see that they look like very thick vines. But as you get closer, yeah, great. As you get closer, they kind of very occasionally like slither and pulsate in a way that is not very plant-like, despite them looking like, barkish on the outside. Will, as you're looking at this, clearly something has latched itself onto the house. You suspect it's probably anchored, and most likely you think to your mother somehow, given her disease. It seems to you impossible that the two things are not related. You can also tell that this is definitely a creature. This is not like some kind of natural object or phenomena of this place. As you get a little bit closer, because some of the information you just can't figure out until you get closer, you can see that all of these things seem to spring up almost out of nowhere to latch onto the house. It's not like they're growing out of the ground or anything like that. They almost just kind of like it's like the creature is invisible past a certain point, almost like they just sort of stop or appear like out of nowhere. And you suspect that these are somehow linked to some other creature, some kind of overmind or central thing. And you also, on a crit, suspect that this is probably not the only anchor point or however Will wants to think of it as being not the only victim, perhaps.
So the points at which I think as Will's getting closer and is seeing the point where it's like the visibility stops. She reflexively, like, to test whether that visibility is real, will throw like one of her Infinity Dagger spell cantrips at the point, like where the extrapolation of the creature would continue to see if it impacts with anything. But as she moves her hand to fling the dagger, because she didn't realize she was flying at all, she's not prepared for the like fact that she drops a couple of feet and she stumbles a little bit and like falls to a knee as she throws the dagger.
The dagger seems to slow slightly, as though it is almost like it's hitting water or something like that, as it passes through the area where you've just thrown it. I'm not going to make you make a roll. There's like plenty of targets, so it's pretty easy. And it almost outlines of the rest of these vines, thorns, shimmer through the air. Not like they're invisible, but like they're almost just semi-present. Like that they don't need to be fully materialized to accomplish whatever this goal is.
Will, like, her position kind of on the floor at that point. Like, she didn't fall gracefully to one knee. She kind of fell and slipped.
I think Silver comes up to stand near her, but doesn't offer her a heads up directly, just watching what's going on.
She dusts her hands off as she kind of pushes herself up. Says, all right, well, the vines continue onwards, and she kind of tries to point out shimmering semi-materialism. And she says, it's probably not a great idea to walk into one of these. Does anyone have that helmet where you can see invisible things?
Yeah, Silver is aware.
How does that? I'll ask Silverin. Can you see where the vine continue?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that Silverin approaches a little closer, but is very careful to stay out of their range after her warning. And studies them.
Okay. Yes, to you with the helmet of true sight on, you can see the outlines that everybody else sees when the dagger flows through are just ever present to you. You can just see them, and they trail off far into the distance, like thick cables almost.
So like, to a degree that he could track them.
Yeah, you definitely could follow them.
Can he tell like where people's vision of it would have been limited? Like, does he
It doesn't.
see that?
It doesn't. Even with true sight, it doesn't look fully real because it's not. It's just like on a fundamental level, it's just not fully physicalized. So you can see like where it becomes like this is more material, at least in this plane, and this is where it is more immaterial and more of part of whatever spell or innate ability this creature might have.
We could follow them. The helm sees them.
Before Will responds, so I kind of get where was that correct? Will knows that there's something bigger that's like this is one of many
Yes.
like of essentially things that this bigger creature is dealing with. But if she was to deal with stuff at this house, it would help her mum specifically.
Yes.
presumably.
Yes. With the caveat that on a crit, you would also know that it seems likely to you, very likely, that whatever creatures controlling this would realize this and have some knowledge that something is being done. But theoretically, you destroying these vines should end the effect. They're probably pretty tough, but you have time, and they don't seem to be actively hostile as you are approaching.
Probably anyone, definitely Sovereign, but anyone else that's like even remotely close to Will is saying like, in that magic normally doesn't. It's like crackling between fingertips, like she's actively like on the edge of casting a spell this whole time. As Sullivan says that we could follow them, she kind of looks at Sullivan, and she's like crying a little bit, but not in a way that is overly hysterical. The tears like just pull a little bit in her the corner of her eyes before dripping down her cheeks, and she says, "We should deal with the big thing, and if I destroyed this, it would know, so I shouldn't." And she's like on the edge of just like throwing hailstones at her own house, but she gets it under control. And like
I will stand
wraps
behind
her-
you, whatever you choose.
As you are going through all these emotions, I'm just assuming you approach, from the street, so you're facing the front door.
Yeah.
The front door opens, and you can see, everybody can see this, the outline of a person. They seem to be like maybe wearing a dress. You can't see any details about them. It's somewhat similar to like all the facsimiles of dreaming people that you've seen before. Will, you definitely recognize this, even though you can't see any features as being your mother. And all of these tendrils seem to lead into a point, or points rather, that go along her spine. She kind of goes out, and like she sometimes does, sits on the porch, and is just there, just existing, as you all are kind of observing the house.
Will notices and like probably finishes standing up, like, and stands up straight and takes that crackling energy and like let's bring her hands together a bit and says, let's just leave.
I want to know, how's everybody else reacting to all of this?
Medea's sort of anxiously teetering. This isn't their forte. They don't really know how to comfort somebody dealing with something like this. They've got their hand at their side. They're ready for a fight. They were told this is going to be a dangerous situation. Their eyes are completely fixed on Will's hands, though. Once it's sort of drawn attention to, once they start taking a better look, always watching their hand motions, what Will is doing. Mostly silent. Sometimes they open their mouth to say something and then close it. They're not sure what to say.
I think that Upa comes up to Will's side because Upa was there when Will got to reconnect with her mother, and Upa knows what she looks like. And Upa,
I think Uber wasn't there. Uber was with Silverin. Will went alone to the thing.
oh, I thought we were all.
No, it was in the same session.
If that's the case,
I couldn't remember. I had thought that somebody else was there, but
No. So
I think that was
I
just
think-
in the session where we.
okay.
Yeah, we did it in the same session because I was like, "Who's been here before during the week?" And it was like, "No, you." Uber Silverin went via Uber's like hold, and then Will came this way, and then Will went.
Yes, that's correct.
That's right. Okay, so if that's the Uba is just gonna kind of stand by your side, and Uba has their knife out, and it's kind of looking at you expectantly, like, "Can we go kill that thing?"
Alvaron, it's more he's not so much unsettled as he would have been at the very beginning when everyone first met him. But he is taking stock of this, and I believe it was Medea who was giving us the lore dump before we came to the astral plane, that demons aren't able to exist in two planes at the same time. It's either one or the other for them.
Mhm.
I have that in my notes. So that is kind of ringing in his ears as he's watching something that's here but not here, but the true sight is picking it up. So Alvaron is just kind of quietly musing to himself, is this demonic? Is this, you said it's almost bark-like, its texture, right?
Visually, nobody's touched it as far as I know.
No, specifically, I haven't, at the very least, especially not in your eye.
Visually, it looks, kind of like the outside texture is like craggy, but it seems like hard. It's not like smooth at all.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that it resembles bark, but it's more the roughness of it, the broken upness.
Yeah, it's like pitch black, so it doesn't look exactly like bark, but that's like what's most reminiscent of anything else that you've seen.
When it moves, does it move like snake skin where all the scales move together, or does it undulate?
It seems to the outside layer doesn't really seem to move along with it. It seems to more like kind of undulate and shift about, while the very outside layer stays still or roughly the same.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what Alvaron is, just kind of quietly mumbling to himself as he changes viewpoint on it a couple of times and looks at it. But from that, he's not an expert, but he doesn't feel like this is demonic based off of that knowledge that we have.
So Will's made her intent to be fairly clear, and so Sovereign, as though he takes another look back at the house, but then immediately starts to walk. And it's not so much that he walks past Will, but it's that he turns very deliberately to set her in motion to go in the way that she had already, the way that she'd originally been going, to bar her away from the house.
I think Will is gonna look at Sovereign and say, which direction?
Sovereign points them out. And when he looked at them, they seemed to have a very straightforward path, or was it meandering and branching?
It was definitely heading in a concrete direction.
That way, rather direct. Any points?
Will collect Hella and just kind of quite willingly heads in that direction, ducking under any vaguely visible vines that she needs to.
As you're heading out, it becomes at least apparent to Will that you seem to be heading down towards Twinport.
What an unshocking place to go.
You
find disease and disgustingness.
You continue walking along this path. Occasionally, well, as you're walking along, you come to a fork in the road, and you also come to where these tentacles, cables, whatever you want to call them, seem to branch together, almost like a river path, like coming together and joining once more as one. And of course, really only Silverin can see this. But you can see that at least one trail leads away down a road that is labeled Red Scale Village. Sorry, I have to double check that.
So, Farron, are the cable are they
Tentacables.
still moving? Tentacables?
They don't move actively, but you do see movement occasionally, almost like it'll seem to pulsate down the line, or rather up the line.
So the pulse is coming towards Will's old house, right?
I misspoke. It's coming out of Will's old house. Like it seems to go from places. And now that you're at this fork, the fork also does this. It heads up. It's acting much like a river.
Spurrin doesn't say anything out loud. He just indicates with his hands, kind of making the motion.
Gotcha.
Did you say some of them were leading to Red Scale Village?
Correct. You would probably know it's like a very small fishing village, the coast.
Hmm. I think Will internally thinks that, well, if we defeat the... So, just so I'm clear, some are coming from there, some are coming from behind us at Breakers Hill and continuing onwards to Twin
Correct.
Port?
Yes.
Okay. Then it doesn't matter that all of these, like, things reach. We find the main thing.
Mhm.
But how long have we been traveling for at this point?
Not very long. Like once you get out of town, it goes pretty swiftly. So
No,
like,
fully today.
oh, fully today. You're getting on like 7-ish hours or so. Like you've traveled real far in real space. But you've been going for quite a while now. Especially, there was a fight. You took a few minutes when you got to Breakers Hill to do various things. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think we'll add this kind of both fork in the tentacles and also fork in the road. And he leaves and says, alright, start making camp.
Do you say that with the same authority you used on the ship before?
Somewhere in between that, where this is very like, she's not asking you, should we make camp? She's telling you to do something and expecting you to do it. But not quite the, like, heat of the moment captain voice that she tends to use sometimes.
Gotcha. Ron definitely. You see this moment where he starts to just immediately start doing the thing, catches himself for a second. Nope, it's right there, and just trucks along. Starts. I'll go out and I'll motion to Uba, and do you want to scout a perimeter together? Just make sure we're covering all sides.
Nods and just looks around, kind of expecting there to be more weird creatures.
I'm sorry, I'm going to get my cat out of the sink. I'll be right back.
Maybe we'll just in camp.
Uba, you said you're gonna scout around. Can you make me a survival check?
Yeah, if we're sitting at camp for a long rest, then I could use one more pass without a trace, if that would be helpful.
I feel like we're pretty sneaky together, but if we're about to take a long rest, probably no reason not to.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, if you're about to go scout. Okay, you cast Path of
Be
Trace.
safe.
Do you want us both to make it, Andrew? Or...
Are you going to scout with them?
Yeah, the two of us are going to be together and scout the perimeter.
If you don't have it, yes. I don't think you do.
I mean, I don't have the spell, but
I meant
we're going together.
If you don't have survival.
Oh, I was going to stealth with them.
Oh.
Sorry, would you prefer I make a survival check?
You guys can both make stealth checks, but one of you needs to make a survival check. Whoever is leading.
Yes, that's you.
You, but yeah. Oh. Oh. Never mind. It didn't look like a 14 to me, but I'm not going to complain. Or 12.
Sometimes it like hits corners and stuff. Okay.
It looked like a 4.
And then there's a plus 10 to that.
Yes, you both are incredibly stealthy here in the astral plane. Moving about, everybody else, they seem to vanish quite quickly. You guys, you try not to go too far, but here that's still going quite a distance as you're moving. Uba, you maybe do find, I'll say with an 18, that you can, if you really, really struggle to concentrate, you have some control over the distances moved, but it's very fuzzy and like you immediately start to get a headache and think maybe not worth it. But you kind of scout around this area. It's pretty flat. There's a couple of rolling hills here, so you can see pretty far in any direction. Making a quick loop around, you can see villages off in the distance, but no creatures close by to camp at the
That's good.
moment.
If that's the case, I guess we'll just go back.
Okay. Upon returning, you'll probably find that camp is mostly made. Sylvain, are you casting Tiny Hut? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, like while everybody was settling in, he swept the ground clear, and once he was ready to be stuck in a single spot, would have casted it.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for everybody to get back. And you all have a long rest.
I have stuff to do.
Sure. Before the long rest happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also want to spend stuff.
Go ahead. We'll do Will first.
Did you want to say something first?
No, I'm good.
I'm going to sending to Calla.
Okay.
I do have to make a roll to see.
Yeah, I need a D100. So 5 or below is bad.
It just says how long it's been.
Okay. You get a reply back. Momentarily, it takes a second. With Calla's voice saying, she kind of thinks, a couple hours.
Then another sending back to Calla because Will realized after sending that just said how long that was slightly rude. And the next one just, hey, it's been like a day camping. And then just like not things that I can't be bothered working out what they are, but they're like to make up for being just very blunt in the first thing. It would be funny if that one failed.
It would be hilarious. Wow.
I'm very good at rolling
16s, apparently.
16 this. And then I will cast a second to Vesta, and it just says, I really don't like the Astral Sea. Where are you? It's been such a long time. Do I have to roll for that one?
No, because you're on the same plane. Okay. You receive a response that is then nothing else. Like they started to try to say something, but then like couldn't for some reason.
Just irritated.
Yeah. Okay. Sylvain, what did you want?
I think I'm gonna not. Carry on.
You're gonna not? Okay. Was there anything anybody wanted to do before the long rest? No? Yes.
Not spells, no.
I'll resummon my steed.
Okay. Did you dismiss it at some point? I think it should still be up.
I think it died during the one fight.
Sure, you resummon your steed. Easy enough. Okay. Well then, in that case, you guys have a rest. Feel free to, refresh your spell slots if you need hit dice or anything. Go ahead, do that. Was there anything anybody wanted to do during the long rest, like while you're at camp? Do you rest here for 8 hours? It never feels like nighttime, really. The dome helps because you can kind of, make it different colors and stuff right now. But outside, it never goes too dark. It just is always this ever-present, strange light. Much like being, the closest thing the characters wouldn't notice, but it's like being in an office building with no windows for 24 hours. It's just like it's constant same light all the time. You maybe have slightly, a little bit more trouble falling asleep without the dome. Certainly, the dome helps.
I think the only thing I can think of that Uba would do is pass out some of the rations that they have in their bag, and also suggest it might be a good idea if some of us keep watch during this rest, just in case. Time and distance seems to work weirdly here.
I'll volunteer for the first watch. Got my little prayer book with me and got some studying to do.
India will take second watch. During theirs, they are trying to watch the stars in the night sky, but this is a different plane, even though it's the same night sky. They're trying to see the way the stars move, to see if they carry any significance in this place compared to the normal plane.
To help with that during my watch, Medea, I'll make, because you and I were doing the navigation together before, during my watch, I'll start a little chart on a slate of, and orient it so that when I come to wake you up for your watch, I can orient you to it and you can see how they've changed from my shift to yours.
Yeah. Medea's trying to see if, there's some kind of portents that come from certain constellations changing from how they normally do, or things blink in an eye, seeing if something shifts unnaturally.
They seem still to the two of you. They seem to be, and relative to your world, because they are the same constellation. They seem to be fixed not to the day that you left or anything. They seem to be fixed on Midsummer's Day.
Do any of the constellations have a different luminosity than normal? Like any ones that represent bravery or fear? I know that's a weird question, but it's something that comes to mind.
So all the stars have different luminosities because all of the stars are brighter, and there are many more stars. And there are constellations that you can maybe see, and that could be a constellation, but it's not one you've ever seen before.
Huh. Yeah, Medea will definitely try to spend their watch then, along with Alvaron's help, trying to make, I guess they'll take first watch with Alvaron, then trying to make as detailed of a map as possible is what they're seeing.
Okay. You guys can use navigator's tools to start making a map. It's tons of effort, but
I also have I don't know if this counts as purely flavor with it, but how has Alvaron's beard growth been while they've been here? Does he have 12 o'clock shadow at this point because it's been so long since they came in?
You guys seem to be physically not transgressing.
Stasis?
Not in stasis. It seems to be according to your perception of time is how things are happening for you. So you feel your beard is about what you think it should be after 8 hours. So you don't feel like you're aging quicker, but you haven't been perceiving time differently.
Understood.
I think during the watch, Medea is also very visibly anxious looking around this plane. They're definitely doing the foot tapping as they make down the notes and pacing back and forth, not in a huge circle, just back and forth in a feet or two at points. Otherwise, nothing else of significance.
I think we'll volunteer to take the fourth one, but we'll also overlap with Uber's watch.
Okay, so
if that's fine.
Uba will silver at the
That
Yeah.
sounds good.
And I think that Will comes up while. Firstly, during Uber's watch, Will is going to pray to Syl and like say a prayer for, destroying giant pulsating tentacles in the astral sea. That old prayer, the very common prayer to Syl. But here in the astral sea, where like you can see what Will kind of thinks is maybe just more of the reality of the sky. Like this is a more stark version of the sky than maybe you see otherwise. She puts slightly more effort and more of like her energy into the prayer than she has for a while, like since maybe they were in Tolosanan.
You can make a religion check with wisdom if you like.
Religion check with wisdom. This is going to be. That's worse than making. It's a weird way that works. I think this is -3.
That sounds right.
Terrible.
14. Okay.
11 with because it rolled with int.
Yeah, there's definitely secret strange things here, but you feel like you're on the right path. You're not sure if that's still guiding you whatsoever, but you feel like you're on the right path.
Sure. Then I think she just like heavily sits down near where Uber's keeping watch and says, Uber, do you remember when all we had to worry about was a shape-shifting small druid?
Upa laughs pretty loud and then says, I remember. It was felt like such a big problem then, and now we've been out here slaying dragons and traveling the astral plane.
I was so shocked. And it's like, now that doesn't matter. Like, we've come a long way. And she's like, looks at Uber and says, I wonder if we found a way in the astral sea to go back a year and found ourselves and said, a year from now, Uber, you'll be a lord and you'll have so many more gems than you could probably have even imagined then. And we'd have rescued one of the most famous adventurers ever.
Uba thinks about this and says, honestly, if I were to be visited by us from the future, I'd probably try to fight us. I'd definitely lose, but it's something I'd try. But
That's true.
it is quite interesting to think about. And the fact that you have a girlfriend and an apprentice. Time flies when you're fighting shadow dragons and demons.
Would you, if you knew back then what you know now, would you still do everything, knowing that it led to looking up at more stars than there are meant to be in the astral sea?
Uba thinks about this for a second and says, assuming I make it out of this astral plane, I don't think I'd change anything. Maybe kick that druid's ass a little bit faster, but other than that, I've been having quite a good time. What about
wouldn't
you?
have needed me. I've never made a decision that I didn't regret for the next decade of my life. So, I suppose we'll have to find out when I'm nearly 35. And she laughs and says, but no, I'm glad that I met all of you, and it's nice to be becoming a hero, right? Like the heroes that saved so many different people and so many different places. They'll sing songs about us, like they did about Tarlis and Melf and all the older adventurers.
Uba just kind of sits there for a second, and I don't think it's really dawned on them what Will just said. And they kind of think about that and say, it doesn't really feel like we're heroes. We're just, doing what needs to be done.
I think that's just what heroes have always done. But because we're surrounded by people that have been there before. It's hard to view ourselves in that lens. But we discovered the lost city of Tolosanan. We went into the lost city of... Wait, maybe we're all... Look, there might be a lost city at the end of this road. But we've done things... There are heroes that have had songs sung about them for less than what we've done.
Uba kind of nods and says, "Been a busy year. A good one, though. Like you said, I don't think I would change anything about it." And
I think
Uba
I'd have to
just-
go further back to change what I did with my life. She kind of he looks back towards Breakers Hill, and then on the road down to Twinport, and says, "We should have just gone straight to Twinport. If there was anything in this region poisoning things, it was always going to be there."
Uba laughs. I don't think Uba's ever been to Twinport, but is kind of anticipating this trip based on how shitty Will says that Twinport is. But can I actually... Did Will say that the person that we saw was her mom? Or was that just someone that... Or is that something that Uba could figure out too? Do they look alike?
It was also a person coming out of Will's house. There's only two people.
I think it would be an assumption that anybody with an intelligence over 12 could have made.
Okay. We're barely there. I think that Uba doesn't want to like step on old wounds. But they'll just say, I think you're right. We'll see what Twinport brings, but hopefully there will be some answers there. And then they look back towards Breakers Hill and say, maybe some relief as well. And then just kind of looks up at the stars.
Yeah.
I'll actually revise that over 8 because you also knew that Will's mom was sick, and that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Will says, maybe that astral version of my mum was the most alive she's been for a long time. Which means that this whole time, at least somewhere, she has been in less pain.
I think Uba looks like really, really sad for a moment, and then says, I believe in us. I think that if we were able to fight krakens and demons and dragons, maybe this astral creature will be something that we can get rid of too. But I think they say it in a way where they're not quite sure if they actually believe that.
Will puts her hand on Uber's shoulder and says, I have no doubt that we can, with our combined energies, deal with whatever is causing the problems at Breakers Hill and Red Scale Village, apparently. She gestures down the road. Uber, do you have any flour in your rations?
I feel like Uba would probably have flour.
I will go and use the rest of Uber's watch to start baking some bread and getting it ready to just rise and form and stuff. And while Will is doing it, a little bit away from Uber, because can't imagine having flour thrown around you in the astral sea is a good experience. Will reaches into her bag, and it's not her bag of holding, it's the bag she's had forever. And she reaches deep into it, into the bottom so far that where the lining is torn of this bag that she's had for so long, she fumbles around, has to get other stuff out to look into it, and she pulls out a vial of seawater from the Le Mans Sea that she's had since forever, because she doesn't feel the need to change it, and she adds that to the bread instead of salt, as the last vestige of her as the sea captain, being I don't need this anymore. I have other things to rely on.
So you know that this amount of stuff should make a loaf, a good-sized loaf. But somehow in the process of making this, you find yourself coming away with 6 loaves of bread, a perfect amount for everybody in the party. You bake them. They are made quite well. And it's not like it happens suddenly. It's like you're mixing the flour and like, wow, there's actually a lot more dough here. And then when you're kind of separating them, it's like, I have enough. I think I could make 6. They're going to be real small. But when they come out finally finished, there's just a lot more than you would have expected normally. It looks like normal bread. It tastes,
Jesus.
seems normal.
We did it.
But
Yeah. I think Will probably doesn't understand baking quite as well as to know that like the difference is so vast, but also is doing it in such an autopilot way of just like, it's like when she's this close to Breaker's Hill, like the person that she should have become is like so strong in her. So she just, when everyone's preparing for the day, she just like gives everyone this like fresh baked and rested bread. Gives one to Keller and says it's not quite as good as my mum's, or even Keller's, really. But
takes a bite.
immediately dies. We did it.
Still my favorite.
Aww.
As you guys eat it, it's not quite as filling as a full loaf of bread should be, but it is good and warm as you eat it.
I think whenever Silverin is presented with this loaf of bread, presumably Will is not completely covered in flour, as she has not spent a whole bakery day.
No, she's still quite covered in flour because she's not that good at it. Like,
Nice.
so her black coat is like speckled with flour.
Okay, then in that case, Silverin just kind of like looks her over and nods for taking his bread graciously. Oh.
I prestidigitate my coat clean later.
Probably not 8 hours, probably closer to 10 because watch and stuff like that. But several hours later, you all finish your long rests, eat, have your meals, and break camp for the day so that you can continue onwards. As you do so, the closer you get to Twinport, one, there's more villages nearby. It's just a little more populated near to there. But more of these tentacles conjoin. And the central one seems to slowly get like slightly bigger and slightly bigger each time. But again, much like a river does as it confluences down towards whatever endpoint it might have, wherever it dumps out into a lake or the sea. After about, it doesn't take that much longer to get to Twinport, really. It takes you about another hour of walking. It is slower going here. Will probably, you think, because it's more populated and therefore more places seem to have stronger presences here. You all come to at least the skyline of Twinport. Will, you know that this place shifts all the time. You're not sure, how up to date, what might be old, what might be new that you're seeing, but it looks like Twinport to you. You can see a city stretched out along a very, very long canal that conjoins the still sea with the wider sea out to the Gilliwant Ocean. As you are looking out at the sea, you can see that tendrils sprawl into apartments. It's never like a whole apartment building. It'll be like one apartment here, a house here. But Twinport seems to have been, of the places that you've been to, there's like at least a few dozen people that have been affected by whatever this thing is. You continue heading along through the main streets, and you seem to be heading towards the downtown central part of the North City, at least, because Twinport is a little bit divided into sections. As you get closer and closer, it seems to be heading towards an administrative center until you find yourselves staring at it's probably like the tentacle now is probably like 6 feet wide or so. It's like big. And it seems to be heading straight directly into the central bank of Twinport.
Has also been like on edge since we like hit Twinport, even more than she was before. Because I think part of Will's disdain for Twinport is because the neighboring villages, like, they don't want their kids to go to Twinport because it's got a high crime rate, like, it's dangerous, it's kind of like filthy. So everything that Will thinks about Twinport is through the lens of like childhood boogeyman stories. Don't go to Twinport because it's so evil. So she's like expecting to be jumped all the time, even though there's nobody here. So she's been a little bit more on edge, and she says, "All right, well,
I will say this is the first place you've been to that had any amount of trash in the streets in the astral plane.
I will grab a scroll of aid and cast it.
Okay.
Throw it on me, Uba, and Will. Just extra 5 temp HP. And Medea sort of just pulls this out and drops it wordlessly. They know they're going in somewhere dangerous. There's not a huge amount of explanation.
Who is that on again, for my sake?
Uba, Will, and Medea. Then I will hand a scroll of protection from good and evil to.
Did you say that it was temp HP? I thought aid was max.
Oh yeah, max HP, 5 max HP.
Yeah,
and then I will.
That's important.
I will throw a scroll of protection from good and evil to Alvaron, just to see, like, we're going somewhere to deal with an ethereal mind monster that causes sicknesses. Alvaron can use this to protect themselves if they feel the need for it.
That's a 2nd level spell, right?
Yeah. Protection from good and evil is 1st level, aid is 2nd level.
Okay. Let me check Divine Soul. I don't know if you can cast this or not.
If it's cleric or
it's
a cleric spell. Yeah.
So it's on their.
Okay, you just get all the cleric spell. I always forget exactly how that works.
Yeah, I get sorcerer and clerics.
You can choose the new spell from the cleric spell list. Okay, so you will still have to roll for this, because when that happens, it becomes a sorcerer spell. You can't just cast any cleric spell.
Oh, okay.
You can choose a cleric spell to get, but it's not that you can't read cleric scrolls. Is the way that I am thinking that's meant to be interpreted. Because
if it's not on your spell list, you can't cast the scroll.
Right, and it says specifically you must obey all restrictions for selecting spell, and it becomes a sorcerer spell for you. Which to me that means you're not casting a cleric spell; you're casting a sorcerer spell.
That's fair enough. Understood. Okay, so then probably give that to someone else because.
Okay, then I'll hand it to.
You can still do it. You just have to. I think you just have to make a check. Am I wrong?
No,
about
rules
that?
is written. You can't cast a scroll
never
unless
mind.
it's on one of your spell lists.
I lied.
That's why I don't have cleric scrolls.
Yeah, then I'll definitely give it to Silverin if Silverin wants to use it.
Yeah, Silverin doesn't routinely prepare that, so.
Yeah.
How long does that last? Is that what?
I think it's a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 minutes protection from good.
Okay, then so yeah, he won't cast it yet, but he kind of catches Medea's presumable look over at Alvaron and studies Alvaron and then nods to them, to Medea. I will
and then
do so.
And then Medea's gonna use their own scroll to cast it on themselves as they walk in.
Okay. So you have protection from good and evil up. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You kind of just do this while you're walking up. This particular space, it feels like it takes a long time for you guys to get inside. Maybe part of that might just be apprehension. Part of that might be astral sea shenanigans. You're not sure, but you kind of walk up this grand stairs and enter into this very opulent building. Marble tile everywhere, clear stone, high walls. None of the torches are lit. Actually, there's no torches. There are sconces where magic light would be, although it's not present here. Only the sconces remain. But everything's still lit up because you're in the astral plane. As you're walking along, you come up to the tentacle kind of seems to deposit itself into the ground right in front of the vault. And next to the two of those things is Vesta Vale sitting there in this frustrated, contemplative, eyes closed, sitting crisscross state.
Will, who I think this whole time, along with Selvrin, has been towards the front because they're following the tentacle, kind of puts a hand on Selvrin's slightly lower chest to stop him walking. In such an actual shocked stop moment, and looks at her mentor sitting on the floor there, and just lets out the most frustrated sigh that that any of you have ever heard. No matter what bullshit nonsense you've all done, Will has never been as frustrated with any of you as she is in this moment of just how all paths have led to Twinport of all places. And she should have just expected that Twinport was going to be such a problem. She should just raise Twinport to the ground all in one sigh. But she says, just give me a moment, I think. And she's going to go and sit, mirroring Vesta's position opposite her, and study her for a moment to see if the frustration is something that is surface level, or where if Will wakes Vesta up, will she wake up, or if it's something deeper than that, without trying to wake her up yet.
Sure. I would accept Insight or Arcana for this particular thing.
Well, I will, I suppose, roll Arcana.
That's what I figured. Yes.
Solverin sticks very close. He stopped when Will indicated for him to stop, but then came just a little bit closer to stay right behind Will's shoulder. And I think because he's never seen Vesta Vale and the way you described it, does she look trapped or does she look in some sort of control?
That would require Insight.
Then that's what he's doing.
Check, probably. I don't think Arcana works for that.
Yeah, nope. So, both of those.
Okay. I'll do Will's first. They seem to be in a meditative trance, not unlike what lots of elves and elfkin, not all of them, but some of them, do to sleep. But this one seems deep, as though they are focusing on something. Shaking them awake, you think if you did it hard enough, would wake them up, but you don't think that they're conscious of their environment at the moment. You think that they are engaged in some kind of spell that they're doing, or spell-like effect, that is taking all of their concentration, and the trance is fully focused on that thing. You could probably, you think, try to emulate this and see if you could enter into whatever trance they are in, and that you might be able to communicate with them that way as well. To Solverin, as you're watching this is not like I'm frustrated, I can't get something. Not really. This is more like I'm using all of my effort and concentration to do this thing, and it's taxing me.
would I think that this is equivalent to sleep, to being asleep?
This is a facsimile of sleep. It is not equivalent, and you would know that specifically if they were asleep. They're present here. They're physically here.
Yeah.
You guys knew, but I'm just clarifying that. If they were asleep, you would see a dream portal because they're in the astral sea. They are on the edge of sleep.
Yeah, specifically, I couldn't cast Dream on them because they're not asleep.
No, you don't think so.
Will looks up at Selvarin, feeling Selvarin's height looming over her, what I assume is a cross-legged kind of position, and says, do you have any ideas?
Very little. I could perhaps reach out to Bourdain for a momentary blessing to make her more capable, but whatever she seems to be focused on, I should not like to interrupt.
All right. Will stands up. Is there a vault door?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stands up. Looks
It's open as well.
Yeah.
There is.
Thought Algron was going to get to break into a vault.
That's where the tentacle ends, and it goes into the ground and seems to vanish off for Silverin's eyes. Actually, in this space, it is more physical as it was when you see it attached to houses and stuff like that.
I think Will says, all right, well, maybe we should try and find a way below the vault to find wherever that leads. And she kind of looks now standing down at Vesta, and Vesta is smaller than she remembers and less mystical and distant than she remembers. And she reaches down and probably in a way that Vesta used to pat her on the head, somewhat condescendingly. She pats Vesta on the head and says, I'm sure that Vesta will work her way out of what they're doing, and I'll give Vesta bardic inspiration.
That's a D8 for you?
Yeah. It'd be really funny if I was just I just needed an extra 2. I got it.
Yeah. Likewise, even though it lasts only for a minute more story-wise than anything, Solverin takes from her touching Vestavale that that's okay, and very gently kind of presses his thumb against their forehead the way that he had done to Will very early on. There's a very brief glimmer of just the outline of the crow that usually sits, that painted over his eyebrows. And then he steps away.
Will touching them doesn't seem to do anything. Say this, but you pass on your bardic inspiration. How do you do that?
Normally Will says something in belief that somebody can do something, and it's that is the way that the bardic magic is imparted. Because Will knows that Vesta can probably not hear anything that she says. It's just a true spark of bardic magic. It's the nature of the bardic magic. And as Will reaches down, it's an attempt to show her master that she did learn what she now assumes Vesta was trying to teach her, and not just accidentally ambiently teaching her. So it's just a pure spark of that charismatic magic.
You do this and you go to move on, but everybody else sees Will blinks, but then they keep their eyes shut. And this happens in a very brief moment. Will, you feel yourself in a pure white space. The only other person in here is Vesta, as you kind of open your eyes. And they say to you quite quickly, having no time for greetings, they say, Will, I need you to listen carefully. I can open up the dream for you, and you need to go into it. I only have a moment in this space for you. You have to kill it, and then it seems to fade slowly, and even kill it is echoey and not you barely even get that in your ear as you blink open. And like I said, this is like a flash. It's they close their eyes and it's just a couple seconds long blink to everybody else.
All right. Will looks at Silverin, and then doesn't remove her hand from Vesta's head, I think, but then turns to Uber and says, "You know how I said we shouldn't enter any dreams?
Uba nods.
We have to enter this one."
Did-
And
you all see in front of, maybe slightly above Vesta, a large, probably the largest dream portal that you've seen open.
Will looks at the others and says, "We have to kill it." And then crouches down to Keller and kind of whispers something to Keller that is along the lines of "Stay out here, and if we don't come back, do everything you can to wake Vesta," but also gives Keller the wall banker.
She nods and she looks at it. She seems to understand.
Sure, if my lessons were good for one thing, it's how to use a wall banker.
Yeah. She can do that. She doesn't know what to say, but she just nods. Breathing, unsteadily as she does.
Silverin's
Okay,
lined up in front of the portal, ready to go.
Uba's just sputtering, they don't even have words to fully vocalize why they think this is a bad idea. They're just but you said, but I thought, but, and they're gesturing at the portal.
Medea just rolls their shoulders, gets their weapon at their side. Just another day.
Yeah, in a bank vault, going into a dream, like every other day. But yeah, we'll lead them through.
Okay. You all, there's no sense of, this isn't teleportation. There's no sense of suddenness, or you just step through and you're there, and you feel like you're falling into a swirl of sky color flashes. Will, you think you see Vesta almost drawn out on the swirling colors that you're kind of diving into, doing something, and then they're doing something else, and you see them, but they're younger and they're at sea. In one image you see yourself and they seem to be talking to you, but it's all stretched out, memories or visions. You're not sure, but you find yourself falling through this until you arrest and all feel yourselves upright. Looking around, there is a jumble of things, but they're all strange and massive, some of them. So you see a sword, but it's 20 feet tall, embedded into the ground. You seem to be on a beach of some kind. There's a pet unicorn toy and a box full of things and all kinds of strange objects that look to be real, just oversized somehow. You can see around you, the beach leads one way. off to a large multicolored bridge. And off in the other direction, it seems to go down into a dark forest.
Looking around, is there any way to get like an idea of where the thing that we have been tasked to kill might be?
Sure.
Or just
You can make a perception or insight check. They'll tell you slightly different things.
Is that open to anyone, Andrew?
Yeah, anybody would like to.
Can I instead try to make a religion check to see if this is a demon or a fiendish creature in nature? Anything about something that does this?
You can make a check if you want.
And if Silverin can still see the things, he's helping somebody else make their check because he's got the helm on.
Could you help Uba, maybe? Well, no. Uba has the worst, but it's not too bad.
Who
I don't
are
know
they
if the
helping?
technicals are there.
I haven't looked at them yet because who decide who you're helping, and I'll look.
I think.
Yeah,
Charlie stepped
Charlie's
away.
not here.
Oh, choice of way.
That's all right. I did insight. I'll take it. They've been working together.
Okay.
Damn.
Silverin, stupid, useful Silverin.
Oh,
I
I'm
was like, I rolled
fine.
so well, it's not going to be useful.
So you think that you're in right now? You are in at least part of Vesta's dream, and Soren probably helps you out a little bit by saying, I think what prompts it is like, do you recognize any of this or something that they say like that?
Mm.
And you do. Now you're looking at it, it's different. Like you're at a very strange angle, but the sword is Vesta's. And now that you're kind of thinking about that, you don't know about all of the objects, the toy unicorn, certainly you've never seen before, but you imagine that amidst the various things that you see, most of them, or at least part of them, you recognize as being Vesta's, so you imagine that all of them probably are. Looking at the two paths for guidance, you don't see the cable, the tentacles in here, but you kind of look down the dark path, look up towards the bridge. You think you need to head towards that multicolored bridge. Do you know mine?
Will turns to the others and says, it's Vesta's sword. I think we need to head towards the bridge, but I couldn't really tell you why.
Sometimes intuition is all you have in dreams.
Sorry. So you feel you're intuiting that the bridge is the correct path because as you look towards the darker path, you see flashes of different things, very faint in the distance, and that seems to be towards a more emotional state, and the bridge seems to lead towards a more logical, perhaps more ordered state, and you think that whatever you need is going to be in there, not deep buried in whatever kind of sub emotions you might find in that forest.
Right.
Do I identify if it's explicitly either demonic or non-demonic?
You get nothing from a religion check out of this. You don't think it's a demon, but you don't get any other insight besides that.
That works for me.
As far as the perception checks goes, I mean, neither Alberon or Ugo really wants to go down the dark, scary forest path. But you don't see anything that like Will isn't seeing already. So
I think we'll feel the kinship to somebody that has a dark forest that is all of their like trauma and mistakes, and it's like I don't want to investigate that. But while everyone's kind of getting their bearings, we'll pull out a scroll. I'm going to have to roll to cast it because of the way that this game works. That is a success for a 6th level scroll. Just. And Will touches the middle of her head, and from her finger, a hole that just pulses through her head completely. For a moment, you can see through her head, and then it just re-knits, and an eye appears, and I cast True Seeing on myself, which lets me see into the ethereal plane. I did it. But yeah, she casts True Seeing on herself. It doesn't even require concentration, that spell.
Okay. You've got True Seeing.
Also, her eyes are like a greeny brown type. I don't know what color Will's eyes are. Green, probably. But this eye is the color of Vesta's eyes. I'm gonna click because I've never clicked the scroll to roll, and I wanted to see what it kind of does to output it. But yeah, and then Will says, "All right, off to the bridge." Actually, let's use it good.
Okay. You guys begin to walk down past all of the various different objects and over towards this quite large, quite stretching off into the distance bridge. It's not a bridge over water. As you take your first step onto it, the beach behind seems to fade out, and you're now kind of in a bridge that seems to float over stars, clouds, sky, nothingness down below, apart from those beats of light. You can see behind you a runic marking, large, that feels like what you just stepped off of. And up ahead, there's a separate one, but it's pretty far into the distance. You guys kind of, start to walk along it. Real quick. You're walking for several minutes till you feel like you're about at the halfway point. As you get there, Alvaron and Uba. Double check who else. Yes, Alvaron and Uba, both of you see levitating, floating, dotted spheres. They're a little bit hard to make out, but they're levitating up, down from below towards you, kind of like trying to coalesce onto where you will be in just a few, a dozen, 2 dozen steps or so.
It's immediately drawing attention, and I think Alvaron would be in the back, more towards the back, watching the 6, but seeing this, walking up quickly a couple of steps forward, hitting whoever the next person is in line, and just eyes up, eyes up. And with that, also readying short bow.
I'll say Medea's right in front of you, so you kind of tap Medea, and everybody else hears this and sees them start to move. Not freak out.
Medea will. Yeah. Medea springs into action. They get ready. Whatever comes next.
Do they look different to True Sight?
I'll say with your True Sight, you can make out their forms better. These seem to be some kind of beholders that are floating up towards you.
All right. Will readies a hailstone barrage.
Why don't we take a break now rather than after the fight? I think this will be a better spot. So we'll take a quick 15-minute break, and then we'll be right back. See you all in just a minute. All right, and we're back. So, that's why I switched the music. Yeah, you see on either side of you, they're kind of coming from below, so they're a little bit distance-wise. But one other thing, the grid on this map was really weird, but I wanted to use this map because I liked it. So there's no grid. It's freeform. Try to stay within the grid there, but I couldn't align the grid in the image to the grid in Foundry, so I just took it off. The distances should be correct, I think, roughly or so. But let's drop us all into initiatives.
Are you saying you didn't make this? I just assumed you made this.
No, I didn't make this.
All right. It's less good if you didn't make it.
Okay.
I think it's a very good you homemade this map.
Damn it.
Oh, everybody gets a +4 to their initiative.
Oh, that's helpful.
All right. I have advantage, which doesn't work to shift click, so I'm just going to do this twice. Slash D20 plus 8. Nope. That's terrifying. I'm sorry for viciously mockerying so perfectly.
Oh man, I got a terrible
21.
roll. I got a 1. I got a 2.
Yeah, so Will's highest roll, Andrew, is 21.
Is that with the +4?
Yeah, with the +4.
Oliver runs a 20 with the +4.
I fucking hate
Yeah, I got
spectators so
you.
much.
Alvaron, what did you roll? Did I do that right? 13? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Medea, yours is factored in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woof.
Unsurprisingly, Uba goes first.
It's been a while since I've gone first,
So
but
you can see two larger of these beholders. These ones seem to you a bit scarier than the mind witnesses, flanked by two smaller ones, significantly smaller.
okay. If that's the case, I think Uba's gonna cast Hunter's Mark on, what is this? The large black creature? I'm not sure which one that is. That's like
Flame Eye.
Uba. But yeah, they're gonna cast that. Just put the info there.
Oh,
And then they're gonna do
okay.
2 attacks with their bow and arrow. And they're just gonna be normal ones. Thought that was gonna be a 1.
That's gonna hit.
Scared.
That's also gonna hit.
Cool. And let me do a D8 for Colossus Slayer on that second hit.
Yep.
And then Kojin's gonna send some thunder damage out too. That go through for Kojin?
It did, but it doesn't roll when you click that.
Oh.
There we go.
Not bad, not bad. And Uba's just gonna stay in that spot, so that's it.
Yeah, 34 points of damage. All right. But immediately knocks a couple arrows, and both of them land, hitting their target, sinking in to its kind of head. You suppose is what you would call this, the bulk of it. None of them managed to hit any important eyes, however, but it does seem to as it takes these arrows in. It's going to be Will's turn.
Do I know? Does Will know Beholder's? I think she just doesn't. That's fine. Will pulls out a scroll that she hates. She viscerally dislikes this scroll, and she pulls it up, and it opens sideways. And where scrolls, this is like somebody's done the hand thing and cut out one hand on folded paper and it's like 4 hands. She starts reading it, and I will roll because I think this is a wizard one. And as she reads it out, those 4 hands amalgamate into one giant hand as she casts Bigby's hand, using her spell scroll to concentrate on it. And it appears in front of the one that Uber just shot, and it does the like slapstick thing of like, oh, where's it going to go? And then it tries to poke it in the eye with the clenched fist.
That's
I like
somebody with
the wizard
unnatural
that
joy.
made this scroll is the worst. So it uses my thing, which for wizard spells is +9. I forgot I had this spell. And then I had the stupid clownish wizard. Yeah, so Will creates this hand, and it's just like, poke in the eye, and it just misses, and then she, irritatingly, kind of flies up and over and away a little bit. But on the way past, looks down at Alvaron, and having learned the, like, bardic spark to provide bardic inspiration, she just reaches her hand down, and this, like, little mote of magic drifts through Vesta's mind, or Vesta's dream, and lands on Alvaron's head to give bardic inspiration.
Just for reference, you were heading up or north.
Yep.
Okay.
I just
wanted to
I'm getting away in a direction.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to double check, make sure that was clear.
No,
Because I realized
I'll go
now
the other
that
way.
like either side could be theoretically the correct way.
No, you're right. It gets me further away from the cluster of people. You're right, Andrew.
Okay.
I give bardic inspiration to Alvaron before that happens.
Right.
Has it been more than 10 minutes since we entered the space as well?
No,
Or
I
Protection
think
from Good and Evil?
protection from good and evil, as well as well, aid is definitely up, but protection from good and evil is
Yeah.
still up.
Okay.
Floating forward. It's gonna try to hit Will with a confusion ray and Uba with a wounding ray. So I need Will to make a whiz save and Uba to make a con. Yes.
Can I didn't try this last time because I forget that I have this. Can I, as the ray like lashes out at Will, try and catch it with the bracer
Yeah. Let me double check.
to gain advantage?
Let
Let me tell you what it does.
I think I rolled for Kojin for some reason instead, but I think that would only be an 11 for Uba.
It would be
does-
14 because of the bonus from my aura.
Oh, thank you. That saved me from being hurt.
So it says it's a spell, but we talked about it being spell-like stuff.
Yes, but like
Does this count? Does this
yeah,
count
you
for
have
the-
to make the check still. You always have to make the check.
Yeah.
I will say this is equivalent to a second level spell.
Sure. So I gain advantage on the save, which is pointless.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's likely.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get the +3, so you are confused.
Sure. I don't have a melee or ranged weapon, so I
Yeah.
assume I just do nothing.
Yeah, you'll just do nothing.
I should go buy food since I have so much time now.
Yeah, and so you'll lose your next turn, but after that you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Uba, you succeeded, so you still take 7 points of necrotic damage. from
Ouch.
that wounding eye beam. It's going to be Silverin's turn. So you see this small creature kind of float forward, and out of two of its 4 stalks, 5 eyes, 2 of them, a yellow ray like shoots out and hits Will, who kind of, and one glances Uba, and seems to like, their flesh grows a little bit sallow where it hits.
So the first thing that Silverin does as he sees this movement begin and sees these semi-familiar creatures, he's already moving, and briefly, as he shifts his hand and runs it over the alpenstock, you see the same things that make up his spirit guardians, but instead of being these faint spectral gathite in a circle around him, brimming with cold, just one appears, faint, translucent, briefly behind each member of the party as he upcasts Bless to collect everyone. And
I assume not Kojin.
you know what? Kojin is part of this party.
Okay.
Yeah,
Only
Kojin's
one more
part of this
level.
party.
Yeah, who cares?
I'm sure she'd thank Silverin if she could talk.
Yeah. And, the point of Bless is surviving these rolls, and I don't want to
Yes.
have to fight Kojin. So, attack roll and saving throws, everybody has a d4 that they can add. And so that's that. And then in addition to that, he is going to, you attacked the black one, and he is going to follow up with a Toll the Dead. And once more, it's that aberrant, instead of it being what it was before, that the faint gathite appears again, but this time you don't see it, you just hear Kalash's angry roar. That's a 17.
Sorry, which one was this again? Sorry, which one was this targeting? This one? Oh.
We can't hear you, Charlie.
So it fails.
Hello? Hello?
I heard that.
Okay.
Okay, so is that it was injured, so it should be 2d12.
Okay. I need to sort out how I need to click it from my sheet. How average.
Right. It's not. This one's not bloodied, but it's starting to look hurt as the flesh on its eye seems to contract in pain. All right. Any movement?
No, I'm sticking around just in case. I think he'll move right to the other side of Medea, but that's as far I can keep into range of Will.
Alvaron, it's going to be your turn.
All right, I'm going to move down. It'll let me just get a little bit of separation from the group, and I'm going to cast Bane, targeting the 2 big ones, and then this little one right here.
You will be out of the save radius if you do.
Oh, you're saying as I move away from you?
Yeah. Save
gotcha.
Also, Bane's range is only 30 feet.
Oh shoot, is it?
Yeah.
Oh bollocks, it is actually.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
never mind. Sorry, that's going to be a change
the same
of
as
plans.
Bless.
I apologize. That's on me. I'm so used to things being 60 feet.
Yeah, Bane is weird.
Oh yeah, it's right at the edge of 60 feet, so I thought I was fine, but alright, if that is the case, I apologize. I had a whole turn planned out. I will figure something else out very, very quickly. I will go with, then, a guiding bolt on the frost one.
Okay.
You get a d4 on the attack roll.
Perfect.
I think Blast is already in effect you can activate as well.
Should be.
Let me go to it, and it appears to be. And toggle effect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that should be visible on everybody's automatically, I think.
It wasn't on mine.
I think I've added it to everybody except for Will's at some point.
Yeah, I just made it. I don't get blessed very often.
Oh shit!
I don't know if I
rolled
added
a
it correctly.
D4. Or did it? Oh, it already did. Never mind. That misses.
Yeah,
You have
I
bardic
was gonna say.
inspiration.
I do. I'm
You
you
have
know.
bardic inspiration.
Let's see. Let's spend it early. And if I wind up needing something else later, it's a D10 now, right?
No,
D8.
D8.
Oh, it is only a D8. Chills. This is why we don't multi-class, because I can't do math.
That still makes it a hit.
All right, works for me.
So there's 10
Perfect.
points of
So then
damage.
that
and
was
they are
awful.
They are, yeah, it was very good. But it does tend, they're also illuminated, and the next person attacking them will have advantage.
And then Medea, what's your radius
10
for the 10 feet? Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'll just get a little bit of distance then. So I'm still inside of it, but I want to try to separate us a little bit because the grenade in me is freaking out about how clustered we are.
The grenade in you?
Like the worry about spacing, goddammit, spacing.
I just thought that was funny for you. Okay. That's your turn.
There's a grenade right here, Andrew.
Right in your heart. Hey, I'll take a
In
grenade
my-
for you.
Aww.
Okay. That's probably closer.
I appear to be frozen, but can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
You're just
Perfect.
camera dead. All right. Actually, it's going to move. All right. Silverin, I need you to make a con save against this paralyzed ray. And Medea, I need you to make a fear save. Or, sorry, a wisdom save.
I can't be frightened.
Oh, well,
just-
that doesn't do anything.
And you said con save?
Correct. That is perfectly. Man, I
In
forgot you
fact,
have
no one within
so
10
much
feet of me
con.
can be frightened.
Both arrays, but they seem to have no effect on their respective targets. Silverin, you kind of have to focus out of it, but Medea just it washes over you. No problem. The Eye of Flame. Sorry, Bigby's hand is
It's an object,
right.
but it's translucent.
I'm just. Do you get an attack of opportunity? I don't think so.
No.
Okay,
No,
that's not.
it's just an annoying hand. Bigby's irritating hand.
But it can. Okay, but it can't hit it.
Yeah, it is targetable. It has hit points. It has an AC.
Okay. So let me make a quick cone. Out from this one's eye, covering most of the battlefield. It'll angle it so it can get everybody. Is a cone that seems to flare out. All of you feel that the temperature is becomes quite hot. It doesn't immediately do anything, but you all feel like your skin is just at the edge of burning. And it is then going to use its optic fire blast. I think
It's
it's
everyone, right?
Everybody's getting the +3.
yeah. I think it
Well,
doesn't
wrong.
hit Alvaron just barely, but it does get everybody else.
It seems likely to me, Ramona, that your dexterity save is set up strangely.
Yes.
Yeah, that does not seem correct.
Yeah, 41.
I mean, I don't want to say that's definitely wrong.
I think it's the bless is set up wrong. It would be my suspicion.
Yeah, it's 41d4. It's that there's not a plus sign between it.
We will
Like,
say that
there's-
you failed.
because of the 1 on the important die.
Everybody within the cone is currently vulnerable to fire damage. Within the
Even if
larger
we made
cone.
the save?
The larger cone doesn't have a save. It's just it looks in that direction. You become vulnerable to fire damage. If you
Sorry, I
make the
thought
save,
the,
it'll still be halved and whatnot.
Oh,
But the Fire Blast doesn't hit Will.
It does
Like,
not hit
it's too
Will.
far
It
out.
can't. It can't get Alvaron either. I'm gonna say. I don't know what the map
oh, okay.
says right now, but I don't see you as being in it. I see the other two in it.
We're vulnerable to it as well.
Yes. So, so Medea, for instance, you're going to take 26 because you failed. Silverian, you passed, so you still take 13.
Got it.
Uba, you passed, so you also still take 13. And Bigby's hand.
It has a Dex modifier.
Yeah, +0. And it's equal to your hit point maximum.
It succeeds, so it takes 13.
Okay.
I'll keep track of it here.
Got it. No worries.
My hit point maximum was increased by 8 when I cast that spell.
Oh, so Bigby's hand's hit point maximum was increased as well.
The best 8 ever because it increased the hand.
So you all see this like wave of heat hit you, and it doesn't have any immediate effect, but then the eye kind of blinks, and you all hear a ping as the whole space, this whole cone, becomes engulfed in this blast of flame, which hits most of you.
It's the sound of an Applebee's prep station warmer turning on.
It's then going to be Medea's turn.
I really have to weigh whether or not it's better to leave you guys without the bonuses and attack the things, or to stay, or to leave.
Up to you, but it's your turn, so you got to do something.
Regardless, I am going to activate Radiant Soul as an action.
Okay.
So that happens, and wisely, like Alvaron, Medea will float over. Is this void like a void?
Yes, this void is a void.
How voidy is the void?
I would say it's like a 9 on the void scale.
He'll float out 5 feet so that everybody is still within, and they're going to ready a. I don't think I'm going to be taking a lot of attacks, so I'm going to drop protection from an evil, and I'm going to blinding smite as my bonus action. So I don't use it right now, but I will when I attack next. And then that is my turn.
Were you going to hold an action?
No, because I used my action to activate Radiant Soul.
Okay. So you just do that. Okay.
Bonus action, blinding. Yeah.
So it's going to. Bloop, 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 bloop. Zoidberg forward.
I don't like that. I don't want to be on record as saying I don't like that image.
It's Zoidberging forward.
Yep.
Okay. So it's targeting both of these at Medea. Actually, let me reroll because I think it would know not to use that one. Okay. So it's going to do a confusion and a wounding ray at you. So I need you to make a really good 3d10. I need you to make a wisdom and then a constitution saving throw.
Okay,
Yeah.
I make the wisdom save.
You're not confused. You're fine.
Make the.
You do just barely make
save.
it. You do still take
And I
half
have
damage.
And I take another half because I already resist it.
So
Necrotic.
Well done,
six damage. As the eye beams just focus in on you.
Are you adding the D4 to that con save?
Yes.
Your save
Oh,
still
I-
seems
No,
weird.
it's not.
Oh, I didn't.
you
The
passed
bless
that
was
other
working
way.
right, so I'll roll the D4 if I fail, and it's gonna matter. But
And the
Got it.
concentration, right?
yeah. DC 10.
Yep.
I'm fine.
Game head.
Medea, who did you target with that blinding smite?
I haven't used it yet. I put it on my weapon, and then when I next make an attack, it happens.
Okay, just a reminder that if you whoever attacks the frost one before the end of my next turn has advantage on their attack.
Well, it's going to be Uba. It's going to be Uba or Alvaron, I think, at this point.
Um, okay. This first ray is going to be directed at Alvaron. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. And this other one's going to be directed towards Silverin. So I need to make a strength saving throw.
So Sean apparently got the blue screen of death.
Oh,
I don't
no.
think that he can do the that save.
You can roll Sean's save because I have
Terrible
access to the
time.
sheet.
I get it. If
Yeah.
somebody's rolling, it might as well be me. They have evasion as well, so. I believe.
Yeah, so they take no damage.
Yeah. Okay. Alvaron just shucks himself to the side, rolling over as the beam just hits the bridge, but misses Alvaron, thankfully. The bridge does seem to frost over, but then kind of returns to its normal state after a moment. So, Varen, you feel like this telekinetic force grip you, and it's trying to pull you off the bridge, but you're able to keep your ground and hold steady and break free of its restraint. The last spectator is able to up. Keep rolling ones and fours. I need Kojin to make a wisdom saving throw, and Uba to make a con save.
Man, you're just not getting the fear raise.
I haven't rolled it very much.
D4, it might do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
+3.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, with the +3, even with Blast adding another +1, minimum meets it.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
This is Kojin.
Ah!
Hooray! Thank you
Kojin
for
saves
blessing
against the
Kojin.
confusion ray, thanks to the bless and being close to Medea.
Okay, and Uba was Constitution, you said?
Correct.
Okay. Might need to use that bless for Uba. Oh, just kidding.
You're good. So you take 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And we come back around to your turn. These things are kind of slowly inching their way towards you while just firing off eye blasts constantly.
Okay. So if that's the case, I think Uba's gonna do 2 more shots at the what was it called? The fire
Yes. Eye of Flame is its proper name.
Eye of Flame. Yes, okay. So yeah, Uba's gonna do 2 of those. Rip.
First one misses. Second one hits.
Okay, let me pop Colossus Slayer on here. Ugh. And then Kojin can help again. Now. Do. Goodness.
My god. You rolled
Yeah,
3
for-
1s on D8s.
Christ.
That first that missed would taking the D4 fix it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, let me do the D4.
You can
on those
roll.
two.
You guys don't know their AC, so
The-
that is still a miss.
Aw.
Now we have information.
Oh, higher than a 15, lower than 21.
Okay.
Then Will just loses their turn.
That's all I got.
Correct. Will, at the end of your turn, you are no longer confused and you can act normally. But you see all the spectators and various other things moving forward. This one's going to get to here. Okay. Baron, you're going to get hit with a con save. They keep hitting you with con saves. And then Uba, I need you to make a wisdom save.
Uba's also immune to fear within 10 feet. Or frightened.
Oh, it's everybody near you?
Yeah, everybody within 10 feet.
That's the Watchers thing?
No, that's just Paladin's 10th level feature, Aura of Courage.
Yeah, okay. don't think
Starting
I've
at
ever
10th
played with
level,
a 10th
you
level
and friendly
Paladin.
creatures within 10 feet of you can't be frightened while you are conscious.
Right, Uba, you just can't be affected by it. All right, Silverin, it's going to be your turn.
All right. Let's see. Silverin is going to swing his alpenstock, and as he does, a spectral alpenstock appears, still targeting the one that he and Uba have been fighting.
Which
Yes.
one did Uber hit? Sorry,
The Eye of Flame, the big one on the right.
the one that should have had advantage because of guiding bolt for the first attack.
No, that's on the other one.
I went for the frost one on the left.
Oh, you went for the frost one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and
No,
that advantage came
no worries.
after. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, sorry, I misunderstood the commentary. Okay, yeah, so that is going to swing, and let me see. Let me hit that dice.
Yeah, that's going to hit. 18 points of
All right.
damage, putting that creature at bloodied as you whack down with the alpenstock, driving it into the skull.
Excellent. And he'll follow that up with a Tolling of the Dead.
Same creature?
Yep.
And then roll the
Yeah.
d12s. It fails.
Cool.
So they're within Bane range now.
18, good. Nice damage.
Yeah, if I can get my
Multiple
loading
times.
screen to be anything but the gray.
That one's looking
Yeah.
pretty messed up currently. It is, I would say, severely injured as we roll around to Alvaron's turn, who, Sean, where are you at in the Reaper process?
So, I mean, I'm logged in. I don't know if it shows me, but I just my screen, my Foundry screen is entirely gray. It's like on that preloading thing. I remember where everything was when I left.
I just popped it into general.
Nothing's
Oh,
moved very
aren't you?
much. Yeah.
Perfect. Nice. Is the big frosty one within 30 feet of me?
No.
No.
Just outside.
All right. It's not worth it then to do the.
You could move up and get them within 30
No,
feet, I think.
it's still 35 if I count the squares.
No, if you move up, it's within 30. Right?
30. No, 35. It's just outside that. If it were 1 square
Okay.
forward, it would be.
Well, bring it 1 square forward. Jeez.
Just
No,
jump off the
yeah,
edge,
just leave.
acrobatically
Just pop onto Medea's back.
In that case, no one has attacked the frost one yet, right?
It
right,
has
from
been
where I-
hit by you, but nobody else.
But with guiding bolt.
Correct. Yeah.
But
Right.
no one has hit it since then. Okay, well, then I need to attack it. So then, Andrew, would you roll for me on this with just I don't have access to it. Short bow. I have advantage on the roll, so it's sneak attack plus the bless. We're able to make that go off.
Actually, quite a nifty little trick. Using your own guiding bolt.
Yeah. Because if no one
That was
because
really
like
great.
I mean I love setting it up.
You,
with
I
sight.
crit for you, so
Woo!
gotta roll.
Can never
You
crit for myself for the
You
first time someone rolls for me. God,
you just need me to
Damn
roll
it.
all your rolls, I guess. Yeah, that's a cool 40 points of damage.
nice. And don't forget, it's a force arrow, so there's also
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Holy shit, that was good.
There we go. I can't even see it.
You need to have things delegated.
Jesus.
You all see an arrow and like kind of slide in the main eye, but kind of like off to the side as the creature just thrashes around in its kind of space. Did you want to move?
Beautiful. Looking at the map. I will. No, I'll stay right where I am. I know I'm within Medea's circle for the moment still, so.
This one's going to
Oh, it's starting to load in. Look at that.
move towards
Wow.
Will. Focus firing. Okay, I need you to make a wisdom and con save.
I'll give myself advantage with the bracer on the fair one, the first one. I think that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Wisdom advantage. Well, that
Yep,
passed.
that saves.
And then con.
Correct. That saves as well.
But I take half.
Right, so
So-
8.
-8, and then I have to roll for concentration on Big B Sand.
Correct.
At some point, this will come up.
Sure.
Sure.
Yep,
That's
perfect.
up to
All right. The beams hit you. One of them, you just glance off with or channel the bracer's energy to push past it. The other one, you kind of just take, and some of the damage does hurt you, but not all of it. It's going to be the Eye of Flame's turn. This it's gonna. Oh joy! It recharges its optic fire blast. It's going to
Oh,
use
geez.
its optic fire blast.
Jeez.
I think it just kills one of the spectators.
Yeah, I was wondering how they dealt with being optic fire blasted.
Oh, can it reach me with that?
No. It can only. So this will hit Uba, Kojin, and Sverin.
It didn't add your. Oh, it did add your D4. So
It did. It was just that bad.
Ugh.
You didn't add your D4 or the +3 to the save. So you have a 13 and you need a 2. On Uba. On the D4.
The spectator dies. Full dies.
I used the D4 on Uba already, so.
Oh, it's continual. That's what
Yeah,
kind
like-
about was.
Oh.
Oh
okay.
yeah, you just get it.
Well, look at that.
I wouldn't
Hooray!
spend a 4th level
You
spell
did it.
slot on anything that was not continual like that.
That being
that's
said,
still a
you do
fail.
have to make a
No,
concentration save.
you didn't add the
Yeah.
+3 to the from Medea's thing, so that's 13 plus 4.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Hooray!
Concentration
still-
looked okay though.
Still take half damage.
So you take 27.
Charlie, I think your concentration
No,
think
don't we
your
take double?
save.
Well, Silverin, you take double. Uba takes
Yeah.
27.
Okay.
What does Kojin take?
Kojin takes 27.
Oh no.
Oh, damn.
Did Kojin get
so
their
the-
bonus to the save? I didn't see what it is.
Kojin rolled really well.
Okay.
Yeah,
rolled a
you,
22,
didn't
they're
you
fine.
make your save as well?
Yeah, but we're vulnerable.
No,
Yeah, yeah, I
Silverin
didn't think-
failed their save. They rolled an 8.
Okay.
You see Silverin this time. The last time he just like shrugged it off, and this time he staggers and kind of his hand brushes Uba's shoulder, almost like he's using Uba for balance for just a moment before he brings himself up.
All right.
So your concentration save was
I succeeded on
27, you
that.
I will also
Yes,
say that
27.
Uba and Kojin are looking pretty roughed up right now. They're bleeding all over the place.
Yes, so this creature, wounded as it is, like hits another fire blast out. It does catch one of its spectators, companions who moved too close into the line of fire, and is immolated by this, dying in a scream. It, with its sharp things is going to say to all of you after this happens. Surrender to the Overmind. And that's its turn. Medea.
Medea is going to fly up to the Eye of Frost. And I'm going to make 2 attacks at it. And I'm not going to factor in Bless, but I will after. So, first one, whiffs. Nothing can save that. I don't think that can hit either. Can it? Not even with a D4 now. So I will make the 3rd attack. That hits.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's adding the 10 because I normally subtract it when one hits. So that one just does 19, and then I need to add the blinding smite damage.
That's
thing
from
needs to
the
make-
soul, right? Radiant soul.
Yeah. So that's plus 10 radiant.
Yes, you will.
And then it has to. I'll just click on this, but I want to expand the spell slot again. It does an extra 15 radiant, and it has to make a DC 15 con save.
It does.
And then I'm going to expend a 2nd level smite as well. So this is going to be a 88. Extra 8 on top.
All right. That one is bloodied as well as this massive, blinding to some, but this creature manages to, not get blinded by it at the last second. Your back arm swings around, kind of punching it in the body. Radiant damage flare.
And that is my turn.
All right. This one's going to move forward and try to chomp you.
Oh. I get the opportunity attack.
Yes, from Polar Master.
Yeah.
So maybe it won't do that. We'll see.
Second. I need to check the double. I should double check this. I don't think. Yeah, Radiance only applies once on my turn. So.
Wow.
Another one.
Terrible, dude. All right.
Holy shit, man. Yeah, will trump me.
We'll try to.
In now.
Uh,
Oh my god.
but it's not gonna be the, yeah, those are terrible rolls. The Eye of Frost's turn.
Just to
yes.
interrupt because it might be relevant for this as well. When Silverin staggered, because that DC was a 27, not 10, and so when that happened, Silverin staggered. When he rose, it was you felt that like spectral supportive hand of the Gathite just disappear from each of your backs.
Bless is dropped. Got it. I totally forgot about the difference in damage. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Okay.
Thank you. That was a sneeze. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying.
No. I don't accept.
Okay.
No welcome.
Medea, you're gonna get hit by a Dex save and a Strength save as it focuses down on you with these different kinds of cold rays.
I'll do the strength save first. Okay, just
Success,
barely
just barely.
make it. Fail the dex save.
Okay, so that's actually the first one you fail. So you take 24 cold damage, and then this one does nothing. You take
I
4
take
more
28
after that, and that's it.
So I take 28 damage.
Correct. Yeah, and you're not restrained or anything. So it's trying to like frost you over and kind of make you just fall down. But you manage to break the ice and keep yourself afloat, though you do get hurt. This spectator, seeing its other one die, is going to move down. Put it over this way. Focus on Alvaron.
Get out of the way.
Out of the way, the friendly fire.
Yeah, doesn't want to get immolated like its buddy. I need you to make a wisdom and a con save. I keep rolling 1s and 4s.
It's
All right, in
insane.
that order.
This die might be weird.
That's a
It's
fucking
wisdom,
racist
then
idea.
con, right?
Correct.
And I do not have Medea's +4 anymore. Womp womp.
+3.
You
Yeah.
also don't have bless.
Yeah, we're gonna feel it.
Oh.
Alright. So I'm gonna get confused, and then I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me. Let's go,
Oh.
boys.
Nah.
Alright, well, I made
Oh,
the
the 20
con
was from
save.
Will. Okay, so you only take 6 points of damage.
Copy.
What was that D20 for?
I didn't do the dex save for the hand from Optic Fire before.
And
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about that.
cannot take reactions until the end of my next turn. Can't move.
You
Make a
basically
random
can't do
I mean-
anything on your next turn.
A random melee or ranged attack.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Actually, I think Alvaron has to shoot.
That's
the
true.
bow at
Alvaron,
something
it's worse.
anyway.
I do have to shoot the bow, yeah.
Okay, we will roll something to figure that out once the turn comes around, because stuff might
You're
have
gonna
died
kill
by then.
Bigby's hand. That's
It could happen.
It is.
I could do
So
that.
the dead spectator also just begins to fall through nothingness. But it's Upa's turn again.
So
Yeah.
I think Uba is gonna do the same thing that they've been doing. I think. I think they're hoping to kill this monster before it kills them or Kojin.
Yeah, before it-
So
Gets to blast you again.
yeah, we're both having a bad time. So here's 2 attacks on the big guy.
We're all having a hard time
Yep,
HP
that's
wise
gonna hit.
right now.
And let me give you 1 Colossus Slayer on that. Ugh.
Literally one clock.
Wait, I'm sorry. I should check something. No, protection from good and evil wouldn't have had any effect on that creature's attack because it wasn't
No.
an attack roll and it's not a charm fighter possessor.
could
Okay,
have
never
used-
mind. Sorry,
You could have used Favored by the Gods if you had wanted
I
to.
could have. I wasn't going to use it on that though.
And I
No,
think
it's fine. Yes.
I was trying to think. I have 2 potions of superior healing, and think it would be funny to give it to Kojin, but at the same time, I think that might be a waste. So, I think I'll just. Actually, you know what? Uva's gonna use one of these on Kojin.
Okay.
Would that counts as like an action on Kojin's turn since Kojin's
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I'll say Kojin can down it themselves.
yeah.
That's fine.
Uva's like, oh my god.
31.
So
Does that
Kojin
bring them
is
back to
now-
full or pretty close?
Math. Yeah, they're at full.
All right. As your second arrow flies, enhanced by the thunder damage, it and the creature is just barely hanging on by a thread as we roll around to Will's turn. If you had rolled a little bit better, it might have died.
Will's hands were like crackling into a ball of static that it was about to throw, and Medea flew directly where that ball was about to go, and Will spins the ball, and it instead becomes a storm cloud, more stormy than her normal hailstone barrage one, but she will pull out some lightning crackling stones. They still do cold damage, but first the hand, Bigby's hand, ducks down. And then does an uppercut that intentionally misses, and then just tries to slap it on the top of the head.
Like, that hits.
I'm just checking. 48.
Wow, that was really good. 48. Yeah, you
Like-
slap it down into oblivion. How do you kill this? What does this look like?
Damn.
The hand uses its innate comedic magic
Yes.
to dribble it like a basketball for a second, and then just slam it straight down. And then Will's looking at her hands, which are meant to control this thing, and is like, I'm not doing this.
Well, that's just
but
this
then,
roll.
Then swings her hand so it starts moving across to the other side.
The faint symbol of the Harlem Globetrotters appears on it for a moment.
And then I'm casting Hailstone Barrage at 5th level, and I'll just throw all of them at the big thing. Well, unless they die.
That scroll was written by Grand Wizard Mikhail Jordan.
Awful.
I'm
Awful.
sorry.
No.
That just made me think of Michael Myers.
I thought of that joke a little bit late, but I was like, somebody's gonna laugh at this. I have to say it. So the first one
I'm doing
misses.
fine.
I won't let you
The
down,
second one
Andrew.
hits. Third one hit. Are these all at the?
The
Sorry,
big guy.
the big guy.
Oh yeah.
This doesn't have critical setup, I think. So I'll add 2 more 2d6.
Ice combo is so pretty.
Okay. So a lot of consistent 6 damage. So that's 3, 4, and 1 more.
Hit.
Okay. So 6 times 4 plus 4, 28 damage total. Which it probably resists now that I think about the fact that it's a frost thing.
It does. So it will take 14 points of damage instead. Mostly from the bludgeoning part of these hailstones.
I
Yeah,
appreciated
well,
that little pantomime.
Hey, you gotta do it. This one's dead.
Will at the back of her head's like, I should have just fucking synaptic static in the first place.
Silverin, it's going to be your turn. So one of the big ones has died. The other one is severely wounded. The 3 remaining spectators, little ones, are full health. They have not been hit.
All right. Hold on. I'm double checking movement. I can't remember. 30 or 60. I can't remember if it's.
Which
Oh, I wanted to move away as well. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna
You
fly
can
out
move
over
it.
what are you trying to check the range of?
Okay, just how far I can move spiritual weapon, but it's 60. So yeah, the spiritual weapon is gonna go target the closest to it.
I think that's wrong. Pretty sure it's
I
20
think it's 20
feet.
when you're moving it. Bigby's hand did move 60, like, towards the big other one, by the way. But yeah, I'm pretty sure spiritual weapon's 20, and I will be.
Yeah, spiritual weapon is 20.
Okay, so it's just on cast that it can be popped
Correct.
60.
Yeah.
Okay.
it could
So
go roughly
yeah,
halfway.
it'll it's gonna move closer. It's gonna move closer, so that on the next turn it would go. And as Silverin is straightening up, his hair smoldering burns on his skin. He's going to close his eyes and just settle, calming down. And for the first time in a long time, you feel a soft, kind of gentle chill, that kind of experience that you get after you've gone, you've been outside in the cold for a long time and you bring yourself in by the fire. You're still cold, but it's comforting at that point. And you take 15 points, everyone, including
Oh
potion.
my god, you rolled something that wasn't a 1!
I know, it was glorious. I really needed it too, because he is still obviously not well.
Yeah, so everybody's 15 of temp HP.
Nice.
That's pretty nice.
I guess that affects Bigby's hand as well. Somebody mentioned Jack when they come
Everything.
back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of great.
Will and Bigby's hand get 15 temp HP.
That was right there. That's a nice juice.
All right. So it's action, bonus action. Did you want to move?
Yeah, the point of staying clustered is gone now. So Silverin will move up in this direction a little.
Alvaron, you need to roll me.
Here's what? 4, 5.
A D10. Perfect. I will do left to right, bottom to top. Ten. You shoot at will.
Oh, I thought you meant that the spectator was going to get shot.
Yeah, I thought the two needs to left to right, bottom to top, but
No,
Yep.
because the arrow can hit anybody.
Yeah.
Actually, no. It would. Sorry, it would be the spectator. I did that wrong. because that's the rightmost
Okay,
thing.
cool.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I was 9, but I'm like,
I
it's
did
fine.
count 10, but I
I'm
didn't
happy
count
to-
it in the way I said it. I counted Will last, and that's why in my head I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Will.
I was happy to
No.
take an arrow to the face that was probably going to be a
You do
crit.
shoot it at the spectator.
It shouldn't have sneak attack, but
Sure, so that's 3, 5,
Minus 9
8.
damage.
So total of 12. Sorry, total of 11.
because it does still have the force, but not the.
I would have
Let me toggle that.
I would have cutting words it if you tried to shoot at me.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, but you let the arrow go as it sinks into the spectator, which just makes that noise.
Me too, buddy.
And
Yeah.
then it's going to be this one's turn. Who's going to fly?
And I'm cleared now, right?
Yes, you are. Good.
Okay.
Okay, so I need Solgarin, I need you to make a con and a wisdom save. Fine, totally good. You are not paralyzed. Neither are you afraid of this creature.
Dang
After
it.
getting
You just
after getting knocked down so much, Silverin actually like turns to this thing and just snarls. It's not quite angry, but it's like disdainful.
Shut the fuck up.
okay. It manages not to become afraid of you, but it thinks about it.
That's beautiful.
That's great. I love that.
Even
Alright.
at passing that save was still wonderful.
It's gonna be Medea's turn then.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Sunlight Spear and I'm gonna do the bonus action spin. So both of them need to make the DC 18 con save.
Sorry, what was this for again? I'm making the rolls, but
The spear.
It's a lot of 20s.
The Sunlight Spear, since it recharged, yes, at the beginning of the day.
right. And you used the blinding smite last time. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
This is different.
I was like, wait, didn't you use it? No. So,
Okay, so
the
the
spectator
spectator is fine.
succeeds, but the Eye of Frost fails and is blinded, which is particularly bad for this creature.
Yeah, hey, I'll take that direction.
And then Medea's gonna beat the shit out of the now blind Eye of Frost. As they probably should.
Yeah. So you have advantage, which will hopefully offset the bad rolls.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the one getting the bad rolls. Bad rolls aren't bad in general.
That's true. That hits.
Eh.
So then the rest of them will plus 10. Okay. Hits.
And I made sure to remove the plus down there. And I'm just gonna pump 2 first level smites into this thing.
Yeah.
Did you want to do your
'Cause I need
bonus
this-
action attack first?
No, I used my bonus action to do the
Oh,
blinding
right.
thing.
Thank you.
I need this thing fucking dead, so. Jesus Christ. Okay.
25.
It's
So that's
pretty
the
good on a
first one.
48. Yeah. That's
It's
the
still
48.
up after the first hit.
Yeah. I rolled the second one as well.
Oh, those both of them? Okay, sorry. I thought you were doing a third one. I don't know.
No, it's 2 first level smites on both attacks.
Okay, it is very nearly dead as you stab down into it. You will join the hive. As the spectator is going to go, and realizing that its bite is ineffectual, it's going to try to confuse and wound you. So I need a wisdom and con save.
Hey, normally I'm pretty good at wisdom saves, but hey,
So,
that was the one I was worried about. I'm
No
fine
problem.
on both, and I turn that into a quarter damage, so that's 4 damage.
Correct. All right, the Eye of Frost is blinded, so it bites at you. That's all it can do.
At disadvantage.
I think it has to crit, so it has to crit twice.
Damn.
It came awful close, but no, that misses. You're kind of maybe slightly surprised as it's thrashing about blinded, but still tries to and scrapes
Medea's
against
like-
your armor.
Medea's almost half laughing at this thing, like saying it's going to get them, and it, like right until the last moment it's about to bite them, they suddenly dodge out of the way, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
All right. This final spectator is going to move to here and down at Elveron, who just shot him. That
Makes sense.
It's an it.
Sorry, I thought you were saying Alvaron was an it for a minute, and I was like, hold on.
The creature. So I need a con and a wisdom save.
It used its dehumanization, right?
Yeah.
You're not in Florida. You can't do this to me.
I mean, we did say we're in the void.
Fair. All right.
You were just
con
at a beach.
first. That's true.
Success. So you're going to take 7
All right.
points of damage.
That comes out of the
Isolated
temp
Rainbow
first.
Bridge, and there's
Nice.
darkness all around us.
And then the Fear Ray, that's the Wisdom save.
Yep.
Come on, baby. No.
Nope. You are
Um,
struck by magical fear.
I am gonna use my favorite by the gods on that. Actually,
You just need one of these. You need one of these to be above a 1.
I know, right? Oh, it doesn't actually just roll it. All right, real quick.
Yeah, you can click where it says 2d4 and it'll do
You want
it.
someone else
Also,
to roll
yeah,
for you?
Also, you're under the
Hey,
influence.
just enough.
And
Of what?
all's good.
You're good. You're good.
Oh wait, no, I have protection from good and evil. I shouldn't even needed to use that.
Who's concentrating on it?
You're also on the You're also under the under the force of the Twilight Sanctuary, which when you end a turn in the sphere or in the fight, you can get that frightened effect ended.
Oh, okay. So, I mean,
I'll let
I
you
still-
not use favored, knowing that, because I think
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just okay. Yeah, that should be a
because
one.
I'm positive that that's never come up before.
Yeah.
I do not have 10 uses. I only have the one use.
There's
That's
quite
funny.
a lot of ways to deal with frightened.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Uba, it's going to be your turn. So the tides are turning. The fire one is dead. The ice one is still alive, but it's blinded. Sorry. Let me double check. Did it get another save? I think it did.
It's just the way you wrote it. It is
18.
blinded
end
until
of
the
your
end of
next
your
turn.
next turn.
Okay, so it's still blinded up until Medea's next turn.
You said the frost one?
Correct. So you will have advantage against that one because it's blinded.
Well, if that's the case, I'll just move Hunter's Mark to that one and then try and hit it twice.
Right.
And both attacks would have advantage?
Yes, I will tell you now. If you hit it once, that's all. That would be enough.
Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh. Set.
That's still a
Is
hit
that
because you had advantage.
Okay. Alright, so I guess Uva will target something else if it dies, but
Yeah, it. You can describe how it does.
okay. Uba. I think that Uba is gonna go straight for its eye and just try and hit that.
Much like an egg yolk, it kind of pops and falls down as the creature
Gross.
begins
He
to
has to use their shield to block away some of the yolk falling everywhere.
tumble down into space.
Okay, alright. So if that's the case, then Uba will use the second attack. But can you move Hunter's Mark twice in a turn?
No, because it takes a bonus action.
Well, that's only if I'm moving it from a living creature, right?
No, it takes a bonus.
So it
action
always
to
takes a
move
bonus
it.
action.
Okay. Alright, well I'll attack the little spectator that's like directly south of Medea
Okay.
and then just not use Hunter's Mark. Boop, boop, boop. And
Yes.
Koden's gonna help on this one.
Okay. Six, nice. An arrow kind of takes right where one of the eye stalks comes out of the head. Did you want to move?
I think actually it's a little belated, but can Uba move like here and give a high five to the hand for the solid like
Sure.
basketball dunk?
I'll say that's an item interaction. You just thunk.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's then going to be Will's turn.
That Eye of Frost thing. It spoke audibly to everyone about us joining the hive.
Yes,
the hive
both
mind
of them,
right?
when they spoke audibly.
And would I have to make an insight check to suspect that that was not a threat that it was going to kill us, but that there was something more dangerous to worry about?
I will let Will just figure that out.
Okay. Because Will's like, yeah, I think that's a death threat for something worse. So she will be very frugal with what she does, and just the hand zips upwards towards the spectator that's near Selvarin, and on its way it points and distracts it in one direction, and then just like karate chops the top of its head. I'm not going to be unhappy when this thing doesn't exist anymore. It's not even a good thing to support
that does hit. Which one was it attacking again?
The one closest to it. So straight above it. Straight north of it. 21 damage.
It is bloodied, but not quite dead.
And then I will,
I said it.
for my action, cast Toll the Dead on it. I think. Yes. I'll reroll the damage if it doesn't fail. Doesn't succeed.
It does not.
2d12. Yeah, so it takes 10 damage. Is it just a very standard sea bell tolls out across the entire area?
The Silvern's turn. The creature does not die, but it is looking severely wounded.
And on the tail end of that sea bell, there's the faint echo. And DC 17, I'll roll the damage if it hits. Same one.
Fail.
All right.
Oh,
23. That's going to do it.
There we go.
A rebounding echo.
Yeah. And then Silverin just turns away from it and strides to join Kojin and Uba, and as he does so, the spiritual weapon approaches and strikes the other one. Or attempts to strike. Let's see.
They're pretty easy to hit.
Yeah, but...
Yes. Bloodying that creature is now stuck.
Yeah. And then Silverin just comes back into standing distance of Uba and Kojin and plants his feet.
Right. It's then going to be Alvaron's turn. For reference, you can be standing in this square on the bridge and attack that creature.
Oh, I can?
Yes.
Then I will move forward and I will use Booming Blade. Or wait, no, then I would have to ready my weapon. Never mind. I guess it makes sense to continue to engage the way that I have been. Because I can't, drop my bow and draw my weapon in the same turn, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, the penalty is that you're dropping your weapon instead of putting it away.
Showing it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not taking the risk that it falls off this fucking bridge. There's no chance for that. I was gonna
roll
say
a D100, and it's just
because that is exactly what would happen, though. But for that, yeah, with booming, What? Just why did you go there? No. All right. Cool. So I will just make a regular bow attack. Let me make sure that that's. Yep, that's good. Targeting, you know who.
Hit.
Not much in the way of damage, but enough. And then I will move down this way. Do I notice anything about the arcane nexus to my south?
That's the one where you entered from.
Okay, nothing has changed about it. Nothing has changed about the dream portal.
Make an Arcana check.
Oh yeah, I've got this in the bag, guys.
No, you don't think so. But I don't know if you were paying that much attention when you walked in the first time. So
Very
you're
fair.
not sure. It looks visually, it's the same color. Yeah, so probably.
Oh, cool. Well, according to color theory, nothing has changed.
Medea.
I'm gonna try and kill the one next to me because I feel like that's the smartest approach.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
What?
That misses just barely. That one hits though.
And then the blunt end. Hits.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. The first one should have had +10, right? Or is that not active?
Oh yeah, it should have. It should have.
yeah.
Should be 21.
It dies.
I think it's just a stab in the eye, and then when the thing doesn't go down, Medea flips the end of the spear around and cracks this thing on the head so far down, mimicking the baseball motion, so that it just like is sent with such force into the void. Just such immense force into the nothingness.
Medea
And
could.
then I would like to fly over to the Bigsby hand and also give it a high five.
The Bixby's hand doesn't move unless Will is moving it, except for when it's doing attacks.
They're just
Yep.
moving around it to.
You're just touching a hand. It's weird. All of you are weird. Also, this hand's a dick.
Oh, this game just got a lot weirder.
Come.
God damn it, Charlie.
Okay.
I was set up.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna flee.
It can try.
Run away. It sees all its companions dead and doesn't like that. Off in the distance. Uba. Second your turn.
I think. So there's only one left.
Correct.
Ooh. Sorry, frog in my throat. Can I move Hunter's Mark to that one?
Mhm.
And then we'll just keep on chugging along. 2 arrow hits. Whoa.
It hits.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
They have 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, exact same rules.
As it flees, you hit it. Starts to fall down dead. It's combat.
I immediately dismiss the hand.
No more of these hand slapping shenanigans.
Will is standing looking at the portal and kind of loudly says over her shoulder, well, I hope you all enjoyed the warm-up, because I suspect there's something much worse through here.
Lauren just follows and joins her, and he still looks quite bloodied, but he'll fix that.
Move, see. God.
I think Uba's just not gonna say anything but chug a healing potion.
Keeping an eye on
Hey,
Uba as we're walking up.
Pretty good. 31 two times on that roll. Will hands Silverin a potion of healing without even like turning to look.
Silverin accepts it. Standard potion of healing.
Yes, it just says potion of healing.
Got it.
I don't know how long I've had this.
But he is gonna lay on hands themselves back up to a decent point.
Do that. Where did my character sheet go? Why will it not come up?
Let's just juice all the way up.
I like how you can see how little damage Will took through this fight.
I took a decent amount, but the healing really helped.
If oh yeah, so when your thing's like max HP, right? So like it's
No, I think mine's temp and Ramona's was max. But
So when the temp
just
goes
wanted to
away,
make
we just lose 15.
yeah, but it
Okay.
tax on.
But it doesn't go away yet, right? Because we could walk through this thing
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
it'll be up for a minute.
Well, unless you took the damage off.
Okay, Uba did so.
All right. I think Will looks at Silver and sees that Silverin's still not in great shape, and hands you another potion of healing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he'll take that before he does any slots. Sorry, my character sheet was taking its time to show up. Wow, I rolled the same exact thing in the same exact positions.
Medea can throw some healing on if you need as well.
I've got spell slots, but I won't say no.
Yeah, fuck it. Sure. Take a second level cure wounds. We should get some scrolls of cure wounds. That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're probably more expensive and less effective than potions of healing.
Oh, those are trash healing rolls.
After about 12 seconds of waiting for people to do stuff, Will starts to walk through the portal.
Alright.
Then, let's see.
Thinking internally and only internally that she could have kept Bigby's hand up in case there's something directly on the other side, but also thinking that whoever wrote that scroll doesn't deserve to be remembered.
Does Will hate basketball?
Will doesn't know what basketball is. Will doesn't like the like mocking nature of the magic.
I'm reloading Foundry, so
Okay.
let's carry on, and I'll hit that.
Sure. Or were you going to cast another spell? That's kind of what I was.
Yeah, but when I was trying to like load it in Foundry, I couldn't see all my stuff on my sheet. I could see my sheet eventually, but
Yeah, it blipped out a little bit because the stream screen had an issue. I had to refresh. Okay.
yeah.
You Will kind of steps in first while everybody's like kind of taking a second, and everybody else at a moment we're like, oh, forward. But Will, you appear first, and you enter into a space that is cloudy and dark. You can see water pooling around you. It seems shallow from where you're standing. And you are currently standing on a large stone surface. It's like a very, very like a large boulder placed in a river is kind of what it feels like to you. There are many more stones, steps, paths leading on forward. Lightning crackles once in the sky, kind of revealing or helping to illuminate the area a bit more. You can see at the center a massive dome of some kind. Around it are strange things twisting, moving back and forth in almost like in the wind, but there's no wind. They're moving of their own volition. You can also see in front of you a apparition. It seems to you, certainly not a physical self, but you see Vesta Vale standing in front of you.
Will approaches cautiously.
They're not facing you. They're actually facing outwards towards the creature. But as you kind of start to approach them, they'll cast their head, their glance to the side, looking at you, much like you remember them last time on the ship that you saw them. Even their outfit is the same. They look back at you and then continue looking forward and gesture. And they say, "So you found me."
Will says, "Sure. Through a lot of hard work and looking specifically for you and not for other things."
She shrugs. "Well, it's a good thing you got here when you did. I'm not sure how much longer I have. In the material, maybe another couple months. Here, a few hours." She gestures then. That creature, that's what we need to kill. What you need to kill. I don't have the power left to aid you.
Will smiles and says, I've learnt over the time traveling and getting to this point that the heroes of old always need us to do the hard work for them. Carlos was the same.
The way it goes, everybody loses their touch, and then the youngins come in.
Will smiles and says, can you tell us anything about the creature?
I think it wants to become like a god. I've been tracing its path. It exists here in the astral plane, and particularly in dreams, floating from place to place. When it first appeared, it took villages whole, eating them. Then afterwards, as it grew in power, it became more secretive, careful. It hooked itself to individuals, slowly sucking the life out of them, taking their energy and transferring it to itself. I've been slowing that process through a mental battle. She actually gestures towards different points, and you can actually see, at least as she points in the distance, another figure standing far off to your right and another far off to the left. I had to duplicate myself through simulacrum, and my 4 selves are at this place right now. All of them are nearly spent.
But if we succeed, we can return to the Astral Sea and then to the normal world. We can explain all of these things much better.
Maybe. I've been in here a long time. I'm not sure what it's going to look like when I leave. She just
Alright,
shakes her
can you
head.
tell us anything about what we shouldn't try against it?
She nods. It's like a beholder, a great, massive elder beholder. It calls itself the hive mind. Its anti-magic eye in the center is very powerful. If I had a warrior with me, I might have been able to defeat it before, but it blocks much of my powers. Fighting alone, it's able to keep me in the center. When the eye passes over its stalks, it can't use those either. It is so powerful it prevents its own magic from going on. If you're in the zone, you're mostly safe. But for someone like me, you can't do anything. If you're wounded, try to stay within the cone. If you need to cast spells, get out of there. You should see it. It leaves an effect. Other than that, Peel the ice. It's the best advice I can give. I've fought it several times, but it's a bad matchup for me. If I had known better, well, I wouldn't still be stuck here.
Will takes essentially Vesta saying you're going to be less useful this fight in extreme grace, and says, all right, well,
If you
the sooner
can,
we do this.
I found if you can do enough damage to the main eye, it will close momentarily. It will become protected, and it will be much more difficult to hurt it. But you can shut off the anti-magic that way. I almost got it one time doing that. Almost.
Are you going to be helping us?
No. The second that I give out containing it, everybody it's connected to will slowly start to die again. I have very little spells left to aid, even if I wanted to.
Will smiles and says, not even any inspiration for your former student?
She nods. She'll pull out from her pack, from a bag of holding, or at least the facsimile of one, a long, elegant harp that's kind of gold and shaped like a dragon, and pluck a couple strings. And it starts to kind of rise, and there's almost a phantom orchestra behind that. And they'll say, for you, Will, always a song. And everybody can have a point of bardic inspiration.
Is it a D12?
Let me double check. Hold on.
Vesta's actually a level 4 bard.
Yeah, they're actually not that great. They're really terrible.
Yeah. This is not a hard fight for us, but for Vesta, biggest struggle of their life.
Actually, a D4. They're really on their way to being a bard, but
It is. It's still a D10 actually.
okay.
As Will sees Vesta pull out the harp, and it's that's a familiar harp, right?
Yeah, you've seen this before. This is their main instrument.
Will, one of the things that Will didn't had realized, but didn't think about, is that she'd forgotten a lot of the nature of Vesta in the time that they've been apart. And as Vesta pulls out this harp, she takes her instrument of power and she elongates it into a similar harp, but with a floating siege ship head motif instead of the dragon. And then I want to try to let the astral sea into the instrument of power, to let it basically do what it would like to that magical implement to help us in this fight. I know the astral sea isn't a thoughtful thing, but it's she's trying to create a beacon for the astral sea to come into.
Make a performance check.
Performance? Oh, that's fine. I'll use the D10
Okay.
that I just got.
Fair enough.
Because when am I ever going to use bardic inspiration? Oh, it was a 10.
7. Okay.
20.
Up from 25. You see swirling around this almost essence of this space become materialized and swirl around with the music and start to form notes, musical notes, to single, double, triple, all together, swirling around with the music until it flows back into your instrument of power and a soft blue glow alights upon it. I will tell you what that does in between sessions, because I'll think about it.
Cool.
Vesta, as the music begins to swell and then slow, Vesta will say, once you pass the 5th stone, you'll be shunted to its space. That's the point of no return.
Will nods and kind of looks at Vesta and bows a little bit her head and says, Thank you for setting me on this path.
I have to be honest with you, I didn't do that much, but you listen well. You have more talent than I ever did.
Will smiles and says, maybe it's the nature of apprentices to be what we think we lack. And she looks kind of in the direction of Keller, and then at the others and says, all right, let's go kill an elder beholder that is poisoning a bunch of people.
When you say you look at Keller, you just kind of look back.
In the direction.
In the direction.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Look in that kind of directional thing of, I don't know where we are, but Keller's there somewhere.
Okay.
And before we step off, Silverin reaches down to the totem that he's like tucked up underneath the scarf and brings up those feathers and draws his finger across the edge of the rackus. And as he does so, kind of like a shimmering spectral magic sinks from him from the feather into him, and he regains a fourth spell slot.
Okay. You have a moment before you will step forward. I'm curious. What is everybody else doing or look like, if anything, upon seeing this massive creature and hearing this information?
Biddy is scared shitless. They're very visibly showing it on their face. Your foot is constantly tapping, their hands are rolling along their side while their shield is still on their back before they draw it again. They are staring at this column, very sure that they will not walk back away from it.
I think that Uba is gonna do like another Hail Mary prayer to Mordain, just in case. They're like, this place is so weird, there might as well be gods here. And is gonna ask for some sort of help.
Are they doing this like aloud, or is it obvious that they are somehow seeking godly favor?
I'm gonna say they're saying it out loud in Draconic, but they're also probably not very good at hiding it right now because they're so freaked out. So you see them like holding the pendant, and like just kind of you can guess what they're up to.
There are multiple feathers on Silverin's totem, right? Like when you described it first, Andrew, it sounded like there was a collection of feathers.
There's one big one and then like tufts.
Okay. Like tufts of like smaller feathers.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, Silverin kind of takes a look at it, trying to determine if he can basically remove a feather without damaging it. He doesn't expect it to curry any favor, like to take any of the totem's power with it. But
yeah, you can take some of the down feathers off and
yeah. So he does remove one of the down feathers, and when Uba finishes their prayer, he leans down and he taps that down feather like the rackus against one of Uba's necklaces, and passes it to them.
I think that Uba will kind of look at it for a second in confusion, but then just take it and give like a grateful nod. I don't think Uba thinks it'll do anything, but at the same time they're like, again, this is gonna be pretty wild. Might as well get favor from whoever's out there.
Alvaron is muttering to himself, not in a frightened or bumbling way, but just if you're close enough to hear, you can hear the cadence of it. Kind of sounds like waves slapping against a shore. And as he does so, the net effect of that is spending his sorcery points to regain a first level spell slot, so that he has all his slots back. preparation for the fight. And then, bow in hand, eyes aflame.
As you all are kind of standing and finish shredding yourselves, Vesta will call out, still playing the harp, and say, once you kill it, I'm gonna need a second now. Once you kill it, I'm not sure what will happen. This dream will fade, and my battle will end. Me and the other 3 simulacrums were disposable. You'll have to keep your minds and wits about you. I cannot say for sure what will come.
Great.
Will doesn't look back, but like raises a hand in acknowledgement. Like, there's nothing to say to that. To be like, who knows what will happen when my dream collapses because the beholder that I'm trapping in it doesn't exist anymore.
All right. As you all take steps forward, you hit the 5th stone. I'm gonna have everybody roll me a d10. Or sorry, a d12.
It's probably good that Sovereign and Will roll the same. That's never bad.
All get shunted off into different dreams.
Yeah, Will and Sovereign just like rolled the you get out, everything is fine for you in your dimension. And the others are all like just slowly going crazy.
Yeah,
What
that
do you mean slowly?
sounds. Really want to know what this is all about.
Look, the
Does
two
Kojin have to roll a d12?
I wasn't gonna make
Don't
them, but now that you
Kojin
mention it,
away from me. Oh
yeah,
no.
have them roll a d12.
Oh no.
It could be a good thing. I might have given you a good thing. Maybe this is Vesta's last gift to us. No, Kojin's gonna be the only one that escapes.
Kojin lands in some lava, just dies immediately.
All right.
All because of Charlie.
You all feel yourselves. There's a moment where you've seen this or had this happen a couple times in the Astral Sea, where you take a step and you finally feel like you're in another space. Not like you've teleported or anything. You've just moved and you're there. As this all happens, I'm going to move us to a map. Do we want to roll initiative now or at the start of next session? What do you guys prefer?
Start the next session, I think.
Next session?
I prefer now.
Always like now.
I like the cliffhanger of the initiative.
We'll do a vote.
Yeah,
raise your hand if you want to do it now. All right, we're doing it now.
We convinced Sean.
Okay, you all are suddenly, you kind of walked through together, but you all have separated to various different islands. Will and Silverin are together, kind of at the farthest one. Medea's off to the right. Alvaron's off to the left. Uba and Koji are kind of separated a little bit more forward. This massive beholder creature is sitting on like a throne of rocks, looking out, all of its various tendrils just wrapping around all these stones. There's no water around here. You can see 10 eye stalks all searching around, and they all convalesce on one of you, staring down. The main eye, which is more of like a flame in a black socket, looks down at you, the creature smiling as it says, food. And that's where we're going to end today's session. After you go roll initiative. Let me go ahead and get you into
In my defense, Charlie, I'd just like to say that I'm very, very submissive to peer pressure.
I will tell you the D12 roll was to see where you landed. And
Yeah, I
where you
figured
go.
that out.
The traditional crit attack. I will roll my
Chief.
my thing.
All the bonuses in the world, and I can't roll initiative above a 5.
Hey, you're right there with me, and I have like, except for I don't have those bonuses, so mine is an actual 5.
Andrew, how
Mine's
much
a
time took
16.
place between us walking in and rolling initiative and the end of last fight?
I will say, I mean, all that stuff you guys did, the music, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Not very long at all, but long enough that if it was crunched on time, something would have ended.
I'm glad I didn't show my mentor his hand. Like that would have been embarrassing.
We will come back to this next session with this initiative order. I haven't been putting Kojin in initiative order. I did this time since he's in a different spot, and it will probably matter a little bit more to make sure that
Will is at 16, Andrew, not 12, not 13.
Any other changes I need to do?
12 runs at 9. Oh no, we're not close to Medea this time. Never mind. Yeah, you're good.
Mine was advantage overall.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Those bardic inspirations are going to make a real difference, I think.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, we will see you all next week for this, what hopefully will be a very thrilling boss battle. See you guys.
Y'all need to drop your temp HP